Pamphlet Street. Okay, let's stop here. A handsome figure with a fiery figure stood at the gate of the small town on Bonshu Street, looking at the plaque above. A gleam flashed in her eyes like water, and said calmly. I saw this person, wearing a blue shirt, wearing modern black low-heeled sandals. The light yellow double ponytails are casually draped behind her back, and the blue robe on her body is swaying in the wind. On the forehead, there is a blue-purple diamond-shaped imprint, embellishing her unique charm. On the pretty face, the brown pupils are shining with different colors, and the attractive red lips make people salivate. The woman's clothes are simple yet elegant, and under her indifferent appearance, there is a faint, natural and free and easy aura that is proud of the world. Especially that kind of existence that embraces all rivers and rivers, telling the silent stalwart. I'm talking about that emerald green necklace growing in the cracks. It is self-evident who is coming. It is the legendary Big Sheep, one of Sanin's Tsunade G. Yeah, here is the whole town as a casino. Shizune, who was at the airport beside him, exclaimed in surprise, his pupils widened and his eyes wide open, his body trembling. Well, it's true, Pamphlet Street. Don't make such a fuss, let's go, Shizune. Tsunade's nose was slightly raised, her red lips moved slightly, she waved her hand indifferently, and walked in with her feet up. The proud delicate body, under the swaying steps, shows an eye-catching demeanor. The sinful place that makes people sink is even more mountainous and mountainous. A hotel, I didn't expect you to come so soon, Big Tsunade. Naruto, who was resting after morning exercise, suddenly opened his eyes, looked in one direction and whispered. Among the pupils, snow-white and pure white eyes suddenly appeared. Naruto, who do you think is coming? The dazed little Sakura asked softly with her mouth slightly drunk. Well, I said if you don't go back, Seiko will come over. Naruto looked down, a hint of joke flashed in his eyes, and he deliberately teased. Seiko. The little Sakura, who was confused, was immediately awakened by the name, her consciousness returned instantly, and she packed up her things and was about to run away. She wasn't afraid that Seiko would find out, she just felt a little embarrassed. This stems from Naruto's ambiguous attitude of not taking the initiative or refusing. Let little Sakura, a blooming flower who is just in love, not be able to resist for a while. Now that you're here, let's get started. Big Tsunade, I've been looking forward to it for a long time. After the little Sakura left, Naruto glanced at Tsunade with white eyes, murmured with the corners of his mouth raised, quickly got dressed and went out. At the same time, Master Orochimaru, according to information, this is the town where Naruto is located. Yakushi Kabuto straightened his glasses, stood outside the town on Pamphlet Street, pointed at the town ahead and said respectfully. You can go back now. A flash of excitement flashed through Orochimaru's amber-colored snake eyes, and he looked at the town without squinting, and ordered to Yakushi Kabuto without looking back. Yes, Master Orochimaru. Yakushi Kabuto lowered his head slightly, with suspicion and curiosity flashing in his eyes. He didn't understand why Orochimaru favored Naruto so much. Orochimaru doesn't care what Yakushi Kabuto thinks, he came to fulfill the agreement with Naruto. Mangekyo Sharingan, Orochimaru is looking forward to it. But Naruto's secret, he looked forward to more. These days, Orochimaru is working overtime researching the secret of Uchiha's resurrection. As a result, Mao did not even research anything. So Orochimaru turned his attention to Naruto again. In a casino as soon as Tsunade entered it, he was deeply trapped in it, unable to extricate himself. Naruto, who was in the box next door, felt powerless to complain about that bold painting style. As for this prodigal girl, ordinary people really can't stand the toss, every minute is the rhythm of bankruptcy. Under Tsunade's heaven-defying luck, he quickly loses his fortune and leaves his cash box empty. It's unlucky. Gone, Tone. Tsunade frowned slightly, and threw the money box to Shizune with a dissatisfied grunt, then turned and left with a frustrated expression. Shizune's little follower followed immediately, thinking about where to find a guy to borrow money with a sad face. This is Shizune's day-to-day life, forced to lose himself in money. Miss Tsunade, do you need money? Just when Shizune lost her mind, a sound of nature awakened her and Tsunade at the same time. The two turned their heads to look, only to realize that the sound was coming from the box next door. You know my name. Shizune, it seems that there is business coming. Tsunade looked at the tightly closed box, raised his mouth and smiled complacently, and beckoned Shizune to go in. During these years of traveling, Tsunade has also accepted some good personal commissions to earn gambling money. But because of her heaven-defying luck, she has been unable to make ends meet. You can come in alone. The moment Shizune opened the door and Tsunade stepped into the box, Another voice came from inside the box. Tsunade and Shizune had long been accustomed to this, and without thinking about it, Shizune took the initiative to close the door and wait outside. If Tsunade, one of the Sannin, can't protect himself, then Shizune will give it for nothing. You are, Tsunade walked through the screen alone, walked into the box, and saw a blonde boy staring at her with fiery eyes. Seeing this unusually familiar face, Tsunade was stunned, and only said 2 words, a scarlet flashed in front of his eyes, and his consciousness became chaotic. In Naruto's eye socket, the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan turns. Copied from Shisui's permanent distinguished heavenly gods, blatantly launched. That's right, Naruto is going to leave this permanent distinguished heavenly gods starter to Tsunade. It's that simple and rude, without foreplay. If it is said that a group of young girls like Sakura, Hinata, and Temari, Naruto can play emotional games and earn money in the harem. The generation of Yuhihong and Terumi Mei can play routines plus feelings and be included in the harem. A woman like Tsunade, who has experienced the vicissitudes of the ninja world, can only resort to extraordinary means. The hot blood is not as good as the Daily Show, the female characters in it have distinct personalities, and they are not something that can be manipulated at will. Even for the previous 2 generations, Naruto would use special means when things were impossible. Naruto is confident, but not arrogant. Between breaths, a strange color flashed in Tsunade's pupils, and his expression returned to normal. Naruto, I finally see you again. For so many years, do you know how I lived? Woo woo woo. Tsunade regained consciousness. The first time he saw Naruto, he threw himself on Iwa and cried with rain. Naruto, who was mentally prepared for this scene, was also somewhat surprised. Brutally withstood the impact of facial cleanser. He just modified the lover of Tsunade into himself through distinguished heavenly gods. He went back to the past through the time machine to cut off Kato Dan and fell in love with Tsunade. That's why Tsunade said that. Tsunade is so excited, the next thing is natural. Well, Tsunade had nothing to do with Kato Dan before. About this, Naruto has a lot to say now. Only Shizune, who was waiting outside the box, felt a little confused. Why? Master Tsunade didn't come out for half a day after he went in. However, the concept of superiority and inferiority in the ninja world still restrained Shizune's footsteps, and he did not overstep the threshold. She believed that if there was any problem, Tsunade would give an astonishing reaction the first time. There is no need to worry about security issues at all. Perhaps, Master Tsunade met acquaintances and had a good time, and it's okay to chat for a long time. Yes, it is like that. Boom. A brown-gray python tens of meters long suddenly appeared on the edge of the small town's wall. The calm and lively Banjong Street was suddenly disturbed by this sudden snake. Countless civilians, merchants and peddlers fled in all directions, crying for their parents and mothers after being stunned. The whole town was in chaos in an instant. That is, Orochimaru. Seiko, who was out for a stroll, turned the scarlet eternal Mangekyo, and immediately found the figure above the python's head, startled her pretty face, and shouted in surprise. Seiko looked at Orochimaru's figure, his heart moved, chakra burst out under his feet, and quickly swept towards the giant python. Seiko, who has Tsukuyomi, now has no fear of Orochimaru. What's more, eternal Mangekyo Sharingan brought Seiko more than Tsukuyomi. Master Tsunade. Shizune, who also saw the giant python, immediately gave a loud warning to the box, watching the black shadow on the giant python vigilantly. Because the distance was too far, Shizune, who did not have any pupil skills, did not recognize the other party's identity. But Orochimaru, one of the Sannin, Shizune is no stranger, and he can guess that nothing good will happen. Don't be nervous, Shizune. The radiant Tsunade, with a blush on his face, opened the door of the box, leaned against the door indifferently, looked at Shizune and said lazily. Master Tsunade, are you drinking again? Seeing Tsunade's slightly drunk appearance, Shizune put his nose close to and smelled it, and a scent of wine came to his nostrils. Shizune suddenly looked at Tsunade with an old mother's expression, and shouted loudly. Meet an acquaintance, drink 2 glasses, is that Orochimaru? Tsunade made a perfunctory casually, raised his head to look at the giant python and asked, diverting Shizune's attention. There is something different about her body. Although it was covered with alcohol, it could still be distinguished in front of Shizune, a medical ninja. Well, it seems so. Master Tsunade, do you think he will come to us? Let's go quickly. As expected, Shizune was distracted by Tsunade's words, sweat broke out on his forehead, and he hurriedly urged to lie. Because of Tsunade's hemophobia, Shizune is worried that Tsunade will suffer when he meets Orochimaru, so he is so nervous. We can't seem to go. Tsunade's fascinated eyes turned slightly cold. Looking at the giant python swimming towards this side, he smiled sarcastically. Shizune. Suddenly, the wandering giant python suddenly stopped, and a petite figure appeared on top of its head. Looks like Orochimaru didn't come looking for us. Shizune, I went to the hot spring. Tsunade saw this, vermilion lips lightly raised, waved his hand, and walked towards a hot spring bath that he saw on the road just now. Soak in hot springs. Tsunade-sama, what time is this, and you are still going to soak in the hot springs? Shizune was a little stunned by Tsunade's operation, ran over with wide-eyed eyes and shouted behind Tsunade. Oh, if you don't want to, just stay outside. Tsunade kept walking, with his back turned to Shizune's pretentiously calm voice. She is sticky all over now, how can she not take a bath? Shizune doesn't go, it's more convenient for her to be alone. Well, it's all about that guy. Tsunade thought of a certain energetic blonde-haired boy. A trace of satisfaction and shyness flashed in his eyes, and his pace continued to speed up. After Tsunade and Shizune left, Naruto came out of the box with stilted steps. Damn. Luxury car fare gas, really not blowing. As far as the driving experience is concerned, I can't help but want to put my foot on the accelerator to feel the more exciting speed. Well, not only does it cost oil, but it also takes a lot of money. It seems that this physique still needs to be strengthened. Naruto looked up at the giant python with a pale face, thinking about the excitement of the racing just now, subconsciously supported his waist, and sighed in his heart. No way, who told little Sakura and Tsunade to go together these 2 days? Naruto has no plans to disclose his relationship with Tsunade yet, so the two are so secretive. Immediately, Naruto released the restriction on the sealed space, moved his feet, and quickly ran towards the giant python. Every time privacy is needed, Naruto will turn off the outside perception of the sealed space. Orochimaru, hand over your forbidden technique for resurrecting the dead, and your forbidden technique for reincarnating bodies. Well, you stay here. On top of the giant python's head, Seiko stood opposite Orochimaru, and the Scarlet 3 Tomo Sharingan stared at Orochimaru, arrogantly bossing around. Ms. Sako's arrogance and second-year-old illness has happened again. Chu-cho-cho, is it just that? Okay. As long as you become my disciple, all these can be given to you. And, I can give you even more powerful things. Orochimaru looked at the Tsunade girl on the opposite side. A complex flashed in the strange snake eyes. He laughed and agreed directly. In Orochimaru's mind, he subconsciously remembered the future that Naruto showed him before. Seiko will also inherit his mantle in the future. It is also the future self, the windblower of recognition and expectation. If this is the case, it is not impossible to accept this disciple again. The windmill in the ninja world is too big, and there are countless hidden secrets. A few more winds can push the big windmill of the ninja world even more. Seiko didn't know what was going on in Orochimaru's mind, and was immediately confused by Orochimaru's words. She did everything possible, but never thought of this possibility. How could it be possible to become a disciple of Orochimaru, the S-rank ninjutsu? Orochimaru, but the dangerous person who just launched the Konoha collapse plan in Konoha. Doesn't becoming his disciple mean defecting from Konoha? She wants to become the existence of Hokage, how can this be done? But with Orochimaru's attitude, even Seiko was too embarrassed to force him. The atmosphere at the scene instantly became awkward. Orochimaru, come here as soon as you come. And it made such a big commotion. When the two were in a stalemate, Naruto also came to the head of the giant python, stood beside Seiko and said helplessly. Ha ha. Naruto-kun, I think you know why I am here. But besides that, I have one more thing to talk to you about. Orochimaru stared at Naruto with bright eyes, smiled evilly, licked his lips and said hoarsely. What's the matter? Naruto looked at Orochimaru suspiciously and said, wondering what kind of medicine he was selling in his gourd. Naruto-kun, I have seen your strength last time. The power of 9 tails is indeed amazing. Didn't you also say that Rinnegan can also be our trading item? I don't know if the Rinnegan you're talking about is the pair I know. But I want to invite you to go and grab the pair of Rinnegans. Orochimaru's eyes lit up, and he slowly expressed his plan. His original target was Rinnegan. It's just that after being defeated by Nagato in seconds, the group focused on Uchiha Itachi's Mangekyo Sharingan. After being killed in seconds, he fell into the trap of pursuing Mangekyo. After seeing Naruto's tailed beast, and the existence of Mangekyo Sharingan, coupled with his impure world reincarnation, Orochimaru is very confident in this action. Rinnegan, you guys are really unexpected. But your invitation, I agreed. Naruto took a deep look at Orochimaru, His gaze made Orochimaru feel a little palpitated, so he nodded slowly in agreement. Rinnegan? Do you know the organization? Naruto, I also want to participate in this operation. I want to find that masked man. Zuozi heard the conversation between the two, and thought of the masked man whom he hadn't met last time, so he volunteered. Uchiha Itachi has already revealed to Seiko, Naruto, Akatsuki's leader, that he has a pair of Rinnegan. While speaking, the three-pointed jade in Sako's pupils changed instantly, and the strange eternal Mangekyo Sharingan suddenly appeared. Your Mangekyo Sharingan, why is it different from last time? After seeing Sako's new Mangekyo pattern, Orochimaru shrank his pupils and asked in a medical voice. The last time he fought Seiko, Orochimaru had seen the pair of Mangekyo. This is the eternal Mangekyo above the Mangekyo Sharingan. Seiko, that counts as you. Naruto explained to Orochimaru and patted Seiko on the shoulder in relief. Konoha third training ground, summoning technique. Jiraiya bit her finger, quickly completed the seal, pressed the ground with a serious expression, and said in a low voice. With a bang, a small palm-sized toad was summoned by Jiraiya. The shadow clone that Jiraiya has already separated, immediately went forward to use the trap of toad virtue. Under Kakashi's surprised eyes, Jiraiya's shadow clone got into the little toad's mouth strangely, without any sense of disobedience. Kakashi, it's time to start. Jiraiya's body looked at the little toad with satisfaction, and urged Kakashi. Kamui. Kakashi didn't talk nonsense, his left eye instantly changed to Mangekyo Sharingan, and he aimed at the little toad, urging his pupil technique to shout. Kamui activated, and the space around the little toad twisted for a while, quickly forming a pulling force, attracting the little toad in. Okay. Just wait now. Looking at the disappearing toad, Jiraiya lazily leaned on the stake beside him and said relaxedly. Rain country in a cave not far from Rain Shinobi village. All the current members of the Akatsuki organization gathered together in a rare way. 0, White, Zu, South, Jade, Green, North, 3, Zon, and Empty. 0 Burial Nagato, White Tiger Conan. Vermilion Bird Uchiha Itachi, Nando Dried Persimmon Ghost Shark. Jade Maiden Scorpion, Chinglong Didera. Hokuto Kakuzu, 3 Hidan. Xuanwu Black White Zetsu, Kong Chen Obito. Obito, because he wants to use Akatsuki's power to deal with Kakashi and the information that Kisame passed to him, joins Akatsuki ahead of time. It's just that the current him doesn't get the ring that belongs to Kong Chen. That ring is still in the hands of the former Kachin Orochimaru. Everyone, according to the latest information. Konoha's 9 tails Jinchuriki Uzumaki Naruto, who has tamed 9 tails, can perfectly use the power of 9 tails. In order to avoid future troubles, it is now decided to recycle 9 tails in advance. Vermilion Bird, Nando, Yunu, Chinglong, Beidou, Sante, you join forces to recover 9 tails. Xuanwu, you are in charge of intelligence collection and provide 9 tails updates at any time. Kong Chen, you are responsible for helping the wounded at any time. Tiando Pain looked at the crowd expressionlessly, and the indifferent purple Rinnegan commanded, exuding breathtaking power. Is it the information leaked by Kisame, or has it been discovered already? It seems that only play by ear. Under Uchiha Itachi's paralyzed expression, after a moment of suspicion, a flash of determination flashed in 3 Tomo Sharingan's pupils. When he came back, he only said that the capture mission failed, but he didn't say anything about Naruto's intelligence. Unexpectedly, the Shao organization still knew about it. Everyone agreed that in formal occasions, these rebellious rebels still gave the leader a lot of face. Because Uchiha Itachi knew his identity, Obito didn't turn into a funny character like in Shippuden period. Suddenly, Obito, who was in a meeting, seemed to notice something, his right eye moved, and his figure disappeared strangely. This action made all the Akatsuki present tense, looking at the place where Obito disappeared with apprehension. This newcomer seems to have something. Only Itachi and Tiando, under the expressionless appearance, Yin's heart is not calm. Kamui space a small toad appeared here intact as the space distorted for a while. After the little toad appeared, he looked around a few times, opened his mouth, and stretched out a hand from it. Immediately afterwards, Jiraiya's shadow clone slowly emerged from the toad's mouth. After the little toad appeared in Jiraiya's shadow clone, it disappeared here with a bang. This is the unreasonableness of the summoning beast. You can summon back to Mount Myoboku even in a different dimension. Here, it really is a different space that can survive. Jiraiya's shadow clone raised his eyes and saw the Kamui space full of stone pillars, slabs, and stone platforms, and blurted out in surprise. Just when Jiraiya was about to explore the Kamui space, the space in front of him was distorted, and Obito ran in instantly. Sure enough, you were here, you were moving very fast. Obito, the Sharingan hiding under the mask, stared at Jiraiya bloodthirstily, and said in a cold voice full of murderous intent. Knowing that the Kamui space is connected to Kakashi's pupil technique, Obito has been paying attention to the movement of the Kamui space for the past 2 days, for fear of being plotted against. It was only after Kakashi opened the Kamui space that he reacted quickly. This space is the secret that you can ignore attacks. Then, as long as you attack you in 2 spaces at the same time, your ninjutsu will be cracked. Jiraiya looked at the masked man in front of him, smiled complacently, and said confidently with a pretentious gesture. Unfortunately, you won't go back. Obito's pupils shrank, his eyes showed fierceness, he raised his hand and attacked Jiraiya with a low shout. If this information is leaked out, as long as we fight well with Kakashi, his life may really be in danger. You were fooled, I lied to you. Jiraiya didn't make a counterattack at all. He laughed, and his figure instantly disappeared into white smoke. Shadow clone. No, we can't drag it on. Take advantage of this opportunity and kill them. Obito quickly stopped his movements, looked at Jiraiya who disappeared, and said angrily from embarrassment. With a movement of his right eye, Obito's figure quickly disappeared. Konoha 3rd Training Ground Jiraiya, who was leaning on the stake, had a sudden shock in his lazy pupils, and looked at Kakashi beside him with colorful eyes. Kakashi, your guess is correct. The opposite is indeed a safe different space. We just have to attack him on both sides at the same time, and heal. Before Jiraiya's information was finished, 2 hands suddenly appeared out of thin air, and a pulling force dragged him and Kakashi away in place. Obito, who burst out with full pupil power, launched Kamui much faster than usual. Kakashi only felt a blur before his eyes, and appeared in a strange space. But before he could observe carefully, he felt his world spinning for a while, and he appeared in a dim cave. Enjoying the same treatment, there is the white-haired boy, Jiraiya of Toad Sage. This is the ability of Obito Kamui, which can be marked at point A and instantly transferred to point B through Kamui. Obito left his mark on Kakashi when the last fight left. Both Kakashi and Jiraiya are cage-level powerhouses with rich combat experience. Immediately reacted, relying on each other back to back, staring at the Shaoji people vigilantly. And equally bewildered, were the people of Shao who were present. What is this new kid doing? Suddenly disappearing, and suddenly bringing 2 people over, what kind of operation is this? After Obito brought the 2 of them here, he flashed to Akatsuki. Everyone, they are a stumbling block to capture 9 tails, kill them first to save trouble. Obito pointed at the 2 of them, shouted righteously. Know the public. You have the ability, just bring 9 tails here, can't he? This guy has a sick mind. Catch 9 tails. You are Akatsuki organization. Sure enough, you still have to attack the tailed beast. Kakashi, it seems we played big this time. The moment Obito spoke, Jiraiya saw the clothes of the people around him, his face collapsed, and he said to Kakashi with a bitter face. Kakashi didn't say a word, his eyes fixed on the masked man. His eyes were filled with expectation, apprehension, and some doubts, and his expression was complicated. Obito attacked Kakashi before, wearing a black and blue robe. This time Akatsuki organized a party, and because Obito joined suddenly, the clothes are still being made. So Jiraiya's shadow clone, Obito seen before, is still dressed as a bed. You are. While Jiraiya was speaking, he looked up with a wry smile, suddenly his pupils shrank, and he looked at the 2 people behind the crowd in shock, and those unique eyes, trembling in disbelief. Yahiko, Conan? How did you end up in the Akatsuki organization? What about Nagato? Yahiko, why do you have? Jiraiya stared at the 2 figures behind her, her eyes sharpened, and she asked loudly. Ms. Jiraiya, you talk too much nonsense, kill them all. Tsunade Pain had no emotion in his indifferent eyes. Before Jiraiya could speak, he ordered coldly and mercilessly. He doesn't want the public to know too much information about him. Any intelligence of the ninja may be found by the enemy, and then be countered by the opponent. Although it was only a short conversation of 1 or 2 sentences, the Shaoji people present were all surprised. None of them expected that this mysterious Rinnegan leader was actually Jiraiya's disciple. The name is Yahiko. However, since the leader has spoken, there is no need to worry about those things. Yahiko, you are. HMPH. Jiraiya, one of Sanin, copies Ninja Kakashi. You are all named existences in the underground bounty house. I want your bounty. Jiraiya was stunned, and looked at Tsunade Pain sadly, and was about to say something, but was interrupted by Kakuzu. Kakuzu, who regards money as his life, has turquoise eyes with a golden light, and speaks with a style full of money. While speaking, Kakuzu's body was steamed with black lines, and his whole body became swollen. Because it is within the Akatsuki organization, Kakuzu, who is self-consciously confident, has not used the ground grievance mode. Come on, 2 legendary ninjas may be the best gift to sacrifice to the evil god. Kakuzu, let me help you. Hidan, who combed back his hair, stared at Jiraiya and Kakashi with a bloodthirsty ferocious face, took out the bloody March sickle on his back, and rushed forward with a roar. Aggressive by nature, Deidara popped a blob of clay into his mouth in the palm of his hand, apparently wanting to get involved. And his partner, the Scarlet Sand Scorpion, squatted on the spot to observe, ready to make a move at any time. These two were both excellent human puppet materials. The masked man Obito didn't attack because Kakashi restrained him. Tiondo Pain and Konan also retreated a few meters in an instant. Black-white Zetsu fled quickly into the mountain face, staring curiously at the battle ahead. Uchiha Itachi's pupils flickered, and his figure stepped aside quickly, ready to play by ear. Seeing this, Hoshigaki Kisame also grinned and followed Itachi's movements, watching from the sidelines. At the scene, it instantly became Jiraiya, Kakashi versus Angle, Flying Stalk, Deidara, Scorpion. It can only be this way. Chaotic Lionhair technique. Jiraiya looked at Hidan, Kakuzu who rushed up, and Deidara, Scorpion, and other Akatsuki who were eager to try, their eyes sharpened, and they shouted in a deep voice. In this case, the only way to fight is first. In an instant, Jiraiya's hair swelled wildly, and the white hair split into several strands and wrapped around several people like a demon. Those present were all cage-level experts, and although Jiraiya's attack was unexpected, they still managed to avoid it. And quickly countered, cutting off Jiraiya's hair to attack. Jiraiya, who seized the opportunity, bit her fingers and began to form seals with her hands. Kakashi is also a person who doesn't talk too much. The white fang short sword was unsheathed in an instant, exuding white fluorescence, and met the rushing Hidan. In the blink of an eye, the two quickly clashed with each other for several moves. As the saying goes, an inch is long and an inch is strong, and an inch is short and an inch is dangerous. Hidan's bloody March scythe was originally developed and manufactured to obtain the opponent's blood. Not only is the shape exaggerated and flexible, but there is also a rope at the tail to lengthen the attack. Kakashi's white fang short sword, just a short sword. Naturally, there is a disadvantage. Fortunately, Hidan's taijutsu is completely scum in front of Kakashi, and with Mangekyo's strong insight, Kakashi is still able to handle it with ease. Do you want to summon the summoning beast? Tentacle punch. Seeing Jiraiya's movements, Kakuzu grinned grimly, his right fist suddenly separated from his wrist, released dense black lines from his wrist to link his right fist, and quickly hit Jiraiya. The speed is as fast as an arrow leaving the string. In the nick of time, when Jiraiya was about to give up summoning, Kakashi, who was fighting Hidan, turned the Scarlet Mangekyo, clearly capturing Kakuzu's attack angle. Chidori sharp gun. Kakashi blocked Hidan's attack casually, and at the same time swung the short sword, shouting solemnly. The white fang short sword's lightning surged, and with super lightning momentum, it cut off Kakuzu's tentacles first. At the same time, in a blink of an eye, the Kakashi white fang short sword turned, and the Chidori sharp spear jumped several meters again, cutting off Hidan's neck unexpectedly. Who made Hidan this guy, only a few meters away from Kakashi? Kakashi dealt with Hidan, retreated to Jiraiya's side, and stared vigilantly at the few people on the opposite side. After making the clay bomb, Deidara let out a strange cry, and threw a handful of white spider insects at the two of them. That is Ninja Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique. Through the Mangekyo Sharingan, Kakashi saw chakra inside the white clay, his pupils shrank, and he quickly shot a few shurikens, and shouted in a low seal. In an instant, the several shurikens shot by Kakashi quickly disintegrated, turning into a rain of arrows and shooting towards them. Deidara's clay bombs, mostly nailed in place. Only 2 or 3 of Meow Meow broke through the blockade of the shuriken and came to Kakashi and Jiraiya. Although there were only 2 or 3 of them, Deidara yelled and detonated the clay bomb. Acupoint Jizo. The moment before the explosion, Jiraiya let out a low cry, and cast the white hair of the lion hair technique, which instantly wrapped him and Kakashi, without being affected in the slightest. Summoning Toad's Mouth Bondage Technique. At this moment, Jiraiya finished the summoning spell, clapped her hands on the ground and shouted. The entire cave was instantly filled with the stomach of Yonsu Giant Toad. In front of Jiraiya and Kakashi, a stomach wall rose, separating the two of them from the Akatsuki. And on the other side of the stomach wall, Those intestines and stomachs grew wildly, and quickly squeezed towards the crowd of dawn. Shenluo Tianzheng. Seeing this scene, Tiando Pain pointed one hand in one direction, and said in a cold voice with no expression on his face. A huge repulsive force emerges from his palm, pushing a piece of stomach wall and extending outward quickly. Even the stomach wall of Yansu Big Toad couldn't stand this, and after being pushed tens of meters away, it finally burst open. Tiando Pain took Conan and rushed out quickly, and the other Akatsuki members also left quickly. Uchiha Itachi put away the fleeting Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and quickly followed. Oops, they escaped. Kakashi. The caster's Jiraiya sensed this, ordered a few times to Kakashi, bit his fingers and made seals with his hands again. Ninja summoning technique. A huge white smoke drifted past, and a huge exaggerated toad appeared at the feet of Jiraiya and Kakashi. The exaggerated size of the toad broke through the cave in an instant, and its huge body appeared under the gloomy sky. The members of the Akatsuki also used their own means to appear outside the dilapidated cave. Well, it hurts. Break through the cave with my body. Jiraiya. What are you doing again? Toad Wentai grinned unhappily and said, with huge toad eyes cautiously staring at the Akatsuki crowd below. Wentai, I'm sorry. The enemies are all powerful characters, so I can only trouble you. Jiraiya was also thinking about bickering at this time, so she could only laugh with a smiley face. Is that the Toad Bunta? It's really a huge guy. Conan looked at the huge figure of Hamo Wentai, a complex flashed in his indifferent pupils, and said in a cold tone. Tiando Pain stared at Toad Bunta expressionlessly, without saying a word. Quack quack. Today is my time to express my art. Uncle Scorpion, I'm on. Looking at the huge Toad Bunta, Deidara quickly made a giant clay bird, jumped on it and shouted excitedly. The giant clay bird spread its wings, raised a cloud of dust, and carried Deidara into the sky quickly. Kakuzu, you're making me sick like this. Hurry up and sew up my head. Hidan, whose head was severed, was held in Kakuzu's hands, staring at Bunta Toad with bloodthirsty eyes, and shouted impatiently. On Kakuzu's other hand, it is Hidan's headless body. To shut up. It's you who are too weak. You don't need to participate in today's battle. Kakuzu snorted indifferently, and threw Hidan's body and head aside, his hands began to seal. Scorpion, can you help me sew up my head? The disheartened Hidan had no choice but to look at the red sand scorpion who was good at making puppets and shouted. Inside Akatsuki's organization, Kakuzu and Scorpion also have the ability to sew his body straight. I'm busy now, I'll talk about it later. The scorpion hiding in the crimson amber refused without hesitation, and the tail behind him opened one after another mechanism, revealing densely packed sharp hidden weapons. I saw a special luster shining on it, obviously it was in a state after poisoning. That person, his head was cut off and he is still alive. The Akatsuki organization is indeed a super dangerous person. Master Jiraiya, should we withdraw first? Kakashi stood on top of Toad Bunta's head, looked at Hidan who was shouting there, felt a bad feeling in his heart, and hesitated. No. If you don't kill that person, you will be in danger at any time. Besides, I have one more thing to do. Also took advantage of this opportunity to get Akatsuki's information. Jiraiya looked down, looked at Tiando Pain and Conan, with curiosity and self-blame in his eyes, and said in a deep voice. Is that the guy who called you teacher just now? Okay then. Actually, I also have something to verify. Kakashi's pupils shrank when he heard this, and he looked at the masked man with a complex expression of disappointment. Kakashi, do you have any guesses? Jiraiya followed Kakashi's gaze and the meaning of his words, and asked suspiciously. Well, a little bit. Not sure yet though. Here they come. Kakashi trembled at the thought of that possibility. But only halfway through the conversation, he saw the attacking Akatsuki and reminded Jiraiya. Wentai, use oil. Jiraiya made mudras with both hands, glanced sharply at the crowd below, and ordered loudly to Mrs. Wen. Although Wentai's attitude was a little unfriendly, she was still very reliable at critical moments. When she responded, her stomach twitched, and when she opened, a lot of oil and water sprayed out. Fire-style toad oil flame bullet. Jiraiya completed the seal, opened her mouth and spit out a firebomb to detonate the oil and water, and shouted loudly with Wentai. The monstrous flames that cover the sky and the sun, like Mount Tai pressing down on the top, are lying on the ground towards the crowd of dawn. The scope of the sea of fire is so wide that it is not inferior to Madara's blaze. And Deidara, who threw bombs in the sky, was also locked by Kakashi's Kamui eyes. Kakashi aimed at Deidara's head, activated the Mangekyo pupil technique and shouted. Now is not the time to save on chakra, one by one. Enemy, But there are several more. Mangekyo Sharingan again. Oops. Deidara threw a few clay birds, the space around his head was distorted, and he cursed angrily, feeling like his head was about to move. At this moment, the masked man Obito suddenly appeared beside Deidara, urging Kamui to interfere with Kakashi's pupil technique. Hoo. Almost died. New here, thank you this time. Deidara, who survived the catastrophe, panted and looked at Kakashi below, and thanked Obito without looking back. Be careful, don't fall into his sight. Obito, the masked man, still maintains his usual high-cold personality, and disappears as soon as he is warned. Every member of the Shao organization is a precious asset in his hands, how could it be possible for them to die easily here? If you want to die, you have to gather all the tailed beasts. You bastard, watch me play a big one for you. After Obito left, Deidara hid in the mouth where the big clay bird stretched out his hand and stuffed the clay into his palms, shouting angrily from embarrassment. Kakashi looked at the giant white bird in the sky, and was helpless for a while. Even Kakashi with cage-level strength, facing enemies hundreds of meters high, I can only stare blankly. Hey, if only there was Naruto's bamboo dragonfly. Kakashi complained casually, and could only look at Bunta under his feet. With this person's height, jumping 100 meters shouldn't be a problem. Water-style water barrier. Facing such a fierce flame, Hoshigaki Kisame stood up and launched water-style ninjutsu defense without hesitation. This also made Tsunade pain, who was about to do it, and others stop their actions. Water and fire intersect, and huge steam spreads around. In the land of rain, a country with a humid climate, the entire battlefield is instantly shrouded in thin water vapor. Although it is not as good as mist shinobi technique, it also makes people have some visual barriers. Of course, Kisame only blocked the huge flames in front of several people, but did not block all the flames. After the sea of fire passed, several miles around turned into a piece of scorched earth. Let's do it together and solve them quickly. Seeing this, Tendo Pain ordered to the nearby hut and Uchiha Itachi. Conan silently stepped on the ground, his figure leapt into the air, and the Zadoon wings behind him took shape instantly. The leader has spoken, so Uchiha Itachi can only rush into the battlefield and play by ear. Dance of Shiki paper. Conan, who flew into the air, quickly came to the sky above Wentai's head, waved one hand, and shouted in a cold voice. I saw the two wings behind Conan instantly disintegrated and turned into countless pieces of paper, spinning and bursting towards them. The sharpness of the paper is not weaker than the sharpness of the blade under the extremely fast rotation. What's more, there is also the blessing of chakra. Seeing this, Jiraiya hurriedly bought Tsunade at a low price. Wentai also cooperated with Jiraiya tacitly, kicking the ground with her feet, and her huge body jumped into the air instantly. Conan's Shikiji dance only scratched Bunta's skin a bit, but did not cause any harm to Jiraiya and Kakashi. Not good, detonator. Just when Jiraiya was relaxing, observing the subtle Kakashi, he saw patterns of detonating symbols printed on a few pieces of white paper scattered on Wentai's body. Kakashi let out a low cry, and quickly threw the white papers flying out of his body. Ha ha ha. Come at the right time, let's go, C2 Dragon. Deidara above the sky also completed his work at this time, forming a mudra with one hand, and shouted wildly with a smile. With a bang, a huge white clay dragon with an exaggerated size appeared beside Daedala. The moment the white dragon appeared, its wings fluttered and it turned into a white shadow like Wentai chasing after it. From the mouth of the giant dragon, even smaller bird bombs spit out, and they rushed towards Wentai from all directions. Lightning-style Chidori sharp gun. Seeing the opponent's attack coming up, Kakashi could only activate the Chidori sharp gun with the longest strength, ready to resist the opponent's attack. Meanwhile, Mangekyo Sharingan quickly catches Daedala's figure. Water-style iron cannon jade. Wentai's strength is obvious to all. He quickly accelerated his dodge speed and launched counter ninjutsu at the same time. The scene of the scene suddenly changed to Wentai quickly dodging and counter-attacking, while the clay dragon and the bird were chasing around. Occasionally there are clay birds rushing up, which are also cut by Kakashi's Chidori sharp gun. Conan is beside Wentai, circling around to sneak attack. Kakuzu, Scorpion, Kisame and others below launched an ninjutsu sneak attack, and the whole battle became chaotic in an instant. The only good news is that Kakashi discovered Lightning Style's secret to restraining clay bombs. After a few minutes, Master Jiraiya, is your technique still not good? If it goes on like this, it will soon be unbearable. Cut down a clay bird again, turned to Jiraiya and shouted. 2 minutes or so. If you want to speed up, then you can only hold on here. Jiraiya stood on top of Wentai's head, staring at the attacks in various places with her small eyes, and said in a solemn voice. Then leave it to me. Just right, I'm going to try that guy. A flash of determination flashed in Kakashi's eyes. He stared at Obito, the man in the soy sauce mask below, and jumped down with a low drink. The moment Kakashi jumped, the figures of Bunta and Jiraiya turned into white smoke and disappeared at the same time. Jiraiya ran away? Still hiding? But it's a good thing that troublesome toad is gone. Black-White Zetsu looked at Kakashi, who was left alone, exclaimed, and dived into the ground to sense his surroundings. Just now, they didn't see that the other party was a shadow clone. Go hard. The 8 inner gates open the gate of life, the gate of rest, the gate of injury. The moment Kakashi landed, he let out a low growl, and quickly opened the 8 inner gates in the 4th gate state. Faced with so many powerful enemies, if you hide your clumsiness, you will be courting death. The C2 clay dragon above the sky, when Kakashi opened the 8 inner gates, also dropped dozens of mine bombs around Kakashi. Useless. As long as I am fast enough, I can escape from the center of the explosion at the moment of the explosion. Your explosive secret technique is useless to me. Kakashi, who was surrounded by green light all over his body, tightened the white fang short sword in his hand, shouted angrily, and his figure disappeared in place in an instant. Almost at the same time, Kakashi appeared beside Kakuzu. The white chakra short sword flashed like a bolt of lightning. Even Kakuzu with cage-level strength can only be cut in the chest by Kakashi in an instant like a wooden stake, and his heart is broken. Kakashi, who hit Kakuzu, didn't miss the result at all, and his figure quickly appeared in front of Scorpion's scarlet amber puppet. The white sword glow skyrocketed, with even more lightning attribute chakra nature transformation, which shattered the scarlet flowing hue with one blow. Kakashi did not lose momentum, and immediately swung his knife and rushed towards the dried persimmon ghost shark. At this moment, the sound of a landmine explosion came from the place where Kakashi had been standing before. This is the true strength of cage-level Kakashi, combined with 8 inner gates Hitaki knife technique. The ultimate principle of fast and unbreakable is brought into full play. Is this the situation that parents faced back then? The speed-type physical ninja is indeed the nemesis of the puppeteer. Hitaki Kakashi, you don't use this sword technique. I almost forgot that you are the son of Konoha's White Fangya. Today, I will let you see how powerful the puppet master is. A black figure suddenly emerged from the shattered crimson amber. His eyes were cold. He took out a scroll and opened it, and said with a murderous hatred. This is the real body of the scorpion, or the body in the puppet state. The real body of the scorpion is only the core on the chest. With a bang, hundreds of human puppets in red robes and holding different weapons appeared densely around the scorpion. When the scorpion summoned the puppet, Kakashi's white fang short sword also slashed in front of Hoshigaki Kisame. Just because of Kakuzu and Scorpion's lessons learned, Kisame defended ahead of time and barely blocked Kakashi's instant kill. Only one arm was chopped off. Red secret technique 100 machine exercises. Seeing Kakashi's figure, the scorpion excited chakra and shouted angrily. On the chest of the scorpion, the 100 chakra lines instantly linked to those puppets, and the 100 puppets instantly rushed towards Kakashi like an activated army. Facing the attack of hundreds of puppets, even if Kakashi wanted to make up for Kisame, he was forced to turn around and fight. Although the puppets controlled by the scorpions are not as fast as Kakashi, but with the assistance of numbers and endless hidden weapons, Kakashi still has to deal with them seriously. On the other side, Kakuzu, who had his heart chopped off by Kakashi, used the ability of Earth Resentment to stand up again with the ability to lose a heart. Hitaki Kakashi, I ordered your heart. Kakuzu, who was beaten out of anger, shouted bloodthirsty with cold eyes, and 3 black monsters with masks drilled out of his body. Kakuzu officially launched the Earth Grievance mode. With the thought of Kakuzu, 3 masked Earth monsters rushed towards Kakashi. This guy is so powerful, and Uncle Scorpion, I didn't expect you to look like a teenager. What a surprise. Above the sky, Deidara looked at the chaotic battlefield below and the scorpion manipulating hundreds of puppets, and commented. After speaking, Deidara controlled the C2 dragon, and kept sending out small bird clay bombs to sneak attack Kakashi. Conan did not let go of this opportunity, and the paper detonating amulet on his body shot towards Kakashi like snowflakes. Because Kisame was injured, Uchiha Itachi took advantage of the situation and led Kisame back, not continuing to participate in the battle. At this time, Kakashi was a little tired of coping with such intensive attacks. In a desperate situation, Kakashi activated with the help of chakra boosted by the 4th gate and Mangekyo Kamui in the left eye. The next moment, under the watchful eyes of everyone, Kakashi's figure distorted and disappeared like the masked man Obito. This sudden change made everyone present stunned, and looked at the masked man Obito strangely. As for the exact same move, shouldn't you explain it? But Obito, the masked man, obviously doesn't think so. Now is a great time to kill Kakashi, how could he let it go? The masked man Obito's body also distorted and disappeared in front of everyone. Kamui's space just entering here, Kakashi was forced to close the fourth gate because of overloading the 8 inner gates. At this time, the masked man Obito also came to this space. Oops. It turns out that you are already exhausted. I'm also ready to throw you out and let them kill you. It seems that there is no need to bother. The masked man Obito looked at Kakashi, who was out of breath and dripping with cold sweat, and joked from the bottom of his heart. FFF, kill me, is that all you want me to die? Obito. Kakashi gasped and stared at the masked man Obito, and slowly touched each word. Especially the last 2 words, the biting is extremely complicated. That's right, Kakashi already suspects that this person is Obito. In this world, other people may not know, but he and Naruto know very well that his left eye is from Obito. The same pupil technique may be a coincidence. But the same Mangekyo pattern, linked together in different spaces, is worth thinking about. Obito's body, but has never been found. Most importantly, meet Kakashi, who has changed from Naruto, Seiko, Uchiha. Now about this world, all kinds of conjectures have been let go. This is just testing information. In Kakashi's heart, there is only less than 10% doubt about this result. Obito, who was about to do something, was stunned by Kakashi's sudden questioning. As expected of you, genius Kakashi, you can guess it's me. You're going to die anyway, so it's okay to let you know my identity. The atmosphere was strangely quiet for about 10 seconds before Obito slowly took off his mask, looked at Kakashi and sighed. It's really you. Kakashi saw this familiar face again, his whole body went numb, his eyes widened in horror and he shouted. To be honest, he was really just bluffing. Unexpectedly, reality turned out to be so ridiculous. Because of Kakashi's last change, half of Obito's body and right face are not disfigured by the stone. Now Obito looks normal on the outside. Kakashi is also instantly recognizable. How? Very surprised. Kakashi, your poor technique is really average. But it doesn't matter. I don't care what happens to your Mangekyo. Now, it's mine. Obito pouted indifferently, and reached out to take away Kakashi's left eye. I want to know, why is it you? The former you are the successor of the Will of Fire. Why? Why did you become like this? Did you plan the Nine Tails incident that killed Teacher Minato? Kakashi suddenly thought of the Nine Tails incident, his pupils shrank suddenly, his heart was overwhelmed, and he looked at Obito anxiously and asked. Kakashi's current mood is heavenly compared to the touch of going back to the past. The fetters he cherished turned out to be the one who cut off his fetters. This kind of feeling is not something that ordinary people can embody. He. Why am I like this? This question should be me asking you. I entrusted Lin to you at that time, how did you promise me? You promised me to protect Lin's safety, but the result? She died after being kidnapped by Namikaze Minato. Dead. Ha 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 ha, Kakashi, is it funny for you to say this? Lin, that lovely girl, died inexplicably like that. Tell me, why did I plan the Nine Tails rebellion? That's right, I'm taking revenge on Namikaze Minato, Konoha, everyone. With tears in his eyes, Obito stared at Kakashi like a madman, and screamed madly. Then, you haven't investigated, why did Teacher Minato take Lin away? Maybe there is some misunderstanding here. Kakashi looked at Obito with complicated emotions, and asked again tentatively. Misunderstand? Lindu is dead, so what if there is a misunderstanding? For me, a world without Lin is hell. I don't care about anything here. Kakashi, you too. With that nervous look, Kakashi looked strange and unbelievable. At this moment, Kakashi finally saw Obito's paranoid love for Lin. I also agree with what second generation said before, that the owner of the Uchiha family's Wan Fountain is an unstable factor. Kindness like Obito can also become paranoid to the point of insanity due to changes in feelings. Just because of love, teachers and villages will be killed. How can such an existence be reassuring? In this cruel ninja world, which ninja does not bear his own pain and move forward with heavy burdens? Uchiha, maybe it's really not suitable for Hokage. However, such Obito, if he knows that Lin is still alive, he will be with him again. Thinking of some uncontrollable consequences, Kakashi has a weird and determined face. Well, absolutely must not let Obito know that Lin is still alive. Kakashi, your eyes, I accept. Obito also seemed to have guessed something, his face straightened, he gave a soft drink, and reached out to grab Kakashi's left eye. Chidori stream. Kakashi, who looked exhausted, suddenly let out a low cry, and the thunder attribute chakra on his body suddenly exploded, blocking Obito's right hand. Just now, he was indeed stalling for time, recovering the sequelae of 8 inner gates' stiffness to the body. In desperation, Obito subconsciously transformed his body into the outside world. All of a sudden, Obito's expression changed drastically, and he slurped out a big mouthful of fresh water. Obito, who was hit hard, turned his eyes in disbelief, and quickly retracted them. His face was full of differences. Jiraiya. When will he show up again? Obito looked at Kakashi in amazement, and asked in doubt. It's finally out. Obito, are you here to fight with me, or take me out together? Or, if you go out alone, I will watch you from here. Kakashi's eyes sharpened, and Reikiri in his right hand manifested, staring at Obito seriously and shouted. You. Obito looked at Kakashi, weighed the pros and cons with a cloudy face, gritted his teeth, snorted angrily, and left the Kamui space. Obito is not stupid, taking Kakashi out now, isn't he asking for trouble? Let's wait until Jiraiya is dealt with before finding a way to kill Kakashi. Big deal. No Kamui ability for now. Watching the back of Obito leaving, Kakashi also slumped on the ground. Well, he was the king of flickers just now. Kakashi's original intention was to stay in the Kamui space to restore chakra and restrict Obito's ability to use hollow. Outside world Jiraiya, with a high nose, red fairy marks on her face, long beard, and a drastically changed face, stood motionless across from Xiaoji, looking at each other indifferently. On his shoulders stood 2 old toads over a foot tall, one on the left and the other on the right. This is exactly Jiraiya's strongest method, Sage Mode. When summoning Bunta, Jiraiya secretly separated Shadow Clone under the cover of a huge white smoke, and fought side by side with Kakashi and Bunta. And his body quickly hid in the gourd toad that was summoned together, ready for Sage Mode. The gourd toad has an enchantment in its body, which is a hidden toad that can avoid perception. Not to mention the black-white Zetsu, even Rinnegan's Nagato can't feel it. Jiraiya, who knows the strength of the enemy, doesn't think that he can challenge the Shao organization with Kakashi in a normal state. That's the Eye of 6 Paths, Rinnegan. Little Jiraiya, what's going on? Immortal Fukasaku withdrew his attacking tongue and stared at Rinnegan of Tsunade Pain. A look of seriousness flashed across Toad's face. Teacher Jiraiya's own state has changed. It seems that whether it is Orochimaru or Jiraiya, the main criminal will use unique powers. Just let me see what kind of power you are, Teacher Jiraiya. Tsunade Pain saw the changes in Jiraiya through Rinnegan, and thought to himself. Well, it's just because it's Rinnegan that I'm bothering the 2 fairies. I have something to talk to him alone, heal those soft fishes. Immortal Fukasaku and Immortal Shima are about to go. Jiraiya casually glanced at the Akatsuki, and said to the 2 toad sages beside him. You even said I was a bastard. Damn guy, look at the trick. Deidara, hovering in the sky, heard Jiraiya's words, roared, and controlled the C2 clay dragon, like Jiraiya pounced. Young people, don't get too angry. Immortal Shima, standing on Jiraiya's left shoulder, let out a strange cry, opened his mouth and spit it out. His tongue lengthened in an instant, like a long snake, and bound the C2 dragon in an instant. In that long tongue, countless small holes spray out butter, covering the whole body of the C2 dragon. Seeing this, Deidara yelled and was about to detonate the C2 dragon. But Jiraiya, who already knew his fighting style, was unprepared. Fukasaku Immortal. Jiraiya let out a low snort. Fukasaku Immortal understood immediately, opened his mouth and spit out a water style like a high-pressure water gun, instantly dismembering the C2 dragon. Taking advantage of the situation, the high-pressure water gun streaked across the sky, knocking down Deidara in the sky. Because of the high speed, Deidara accidentally cut off an arm by the water gun. Red Secret Technique 100 Machine Exercises. Fire Style Head Hard. Wind Style Harm. Fire Style How Long Fire Technique. Water Style Big Shark Technique. Paper Escape. Shiki Paper Dance. The other Akatsuki members reacted immediately, and began to counterattack overwhelmingly. I saw nearly 100 human puppets, and all kinds of attacks, attacking Jiraiya overwhelmingly. Well, Kakashi chopped down a dozen of the 100 puppets of the scorpion. What a big noise. Well, it settled once and for all. Little Jiraiya uses oil, the old man uses wind style. Immortal Jima opened his frog eyes, and ordered with clasped hands. No problem. Jiraiya and Fukasaku Senjin responded at the same time, opening their mouths to spit out their ninjutsu. Sage Art Gomon. Jiraiya and the 2 sages shouted at the same time, Shima Sage used fire style, combined with Jiraiya's oil and Fukasaku Sage's wind style. The three techniques combined to pounce on the attack of the Akatsuki crowd. The monstrous sea of flames, under the blessing of Fukasaku Immortal's wind style, instantly swallowed the escapist attacks and nearly 100 puppets rushing to the front. Especially Kakuzu and Obito's fire style, not only did not attack each other, but also added power to Jiraiya's Sage Art fire style. Seeing that the situation could not be dealt with, just when everyone was about to use their secret techniques to avoid the sharp edge temporarily, Shenluo Tianzheng, Tiando Pain came to the front of the sea of fire in an instant. With his hands in front, he shouted indifferently. In an instant, the monstrous sea of flames was divided, ensuring the safety of Xiaoji. At the same time, a figure also came from afar and landed beside Tiando Pain. How come? Two pairs of Rinnegan. Jiraiya and Akatsuki looked at the man's eyes, their pupils widened, and exclaimed at the same time. Is that another leader? Another pair of Rinnegans, interesting. Finally, I can see your secret. Is this your real body? 0. Today is really exciting. The Akatsuki looked at the sudden appearance of the beast and said to Pain, their eyes flickering suspiciously. Pain. Will this expose your intelligence? Conan quickly flew to Tiando Pain. Under the calm appearance, a flash of worry flashed in his eyes, and he said worriedly. Exposing too much information is not a good thing in Akatsuki. Don't worry. This is just in case. After all, the other party is Toad Sage Jiraiya teacher, one of the Sanin. The animal said that Pain stared at Jiraiya in the distance, and said indifferently. Long, Nagato. I thought it was Yahiko who stole your eyes. Unexpectedly, you are still alive. You three are all my once lovely disciples. What is the reason that made you become like this? Jiraiya looked at this young man who resembled Nagato, and then saw Yahiko and Conan beside him. His pupils shrank, and he shouted firmly. Once upon a lovely disciple. Teacher Jiraiya, you are still so naive. It's a pity that this world full of pain doesn't need those boring things. Ninja summoning technique. The beast said to Pain while making seals with his hands, slapped the ground and shouted loudly. Pung made 3 beeps, and 3 huge monsters appeared in front of Animal Dao. Cerberus has the ability of amplification summoning. It is a multi-headed dog with wings. When attacked, it will split and increase the number of Cerberus. Utara bird. Fly freely in the air quickly, with a sharp mouth that accelerates in a dive, collides with the opponent to attack, and drops eggs that will explode. Hell crab. Can spit out a large amount of foam, turning the surroundings into a sea of foam instantly. It can play the role of cleaning, used to deal with oil and flame ninjutsu, and can also remove the negative effects brought by this type of ninjutsu, and can invalidate the strategy formulated by the opponent before. This is the summoning beast that counteracts Jiraiya oil-fire style ninjutsu. The moment the 3 summoning beasts appeared, they each attacked Jiraiya. Cerberus and Hellcrab, rushing towards Jiraiya at great speed. Yatagara quickly lifted into the air and circled, then swooped down quickly. In this open field, the power of the 3 summoning beasts has also been greatly strengthened. The members of Akatsuki saw that the boss had made a move, and each of them played support beside him. Now they all worked together without any effort, wanting to see more information from the leader. Something troublesome is coming. Jiraiya looked at the Yata bird that was swooping over, and gave a reminder. Just before being hit, Jiraiya moved her feet and left in an instant. With a bang, the Yata bird's huge beak hit the ground, forming a big crater. Immediately afterwards, there were hell dogs and hell crabs attacking from the left and the right at the same time. War with tongues. Immortal Fukasaku opened his mouth, and his tongue stretched out like a sword, directly cutting off the hellhound. Immortal Jima on the other side also used the same tongue to instantly bind the hell crab and sprinkle oil on its body. However, before Immortal Shima used fire style to detonate the opponent, the hell crab sprayed a lot of foam, washed off the oil on his body, and the foam also rushed towards Jiraiya. The hellhound on the other side also split into 2 hellhounds after being cut off, and continued to attack. This situation was beyond everyone's expectations. It still splits, it's troublesome now. Jiraiya's pupils shrank, looking at the 2 hellhounds and the large amount of foam, he quickly dodged and sighed helplessly. Tiando Pain also saw the timing. A black stick appeared in his hand, and rushed over with a low drink. Conan and Hell Dao naturally followed closely behind without hesitation. Seeing this, everyone rushed over except Hidan, whose body was separated. Even the injured Deidara and Kisame were no exception. Under such circumstances, even if they don't work hard, it still makes it difficult for Jiraiya to resist. After all, these are all cage-level powerhouses with completely different moves. pervy sage. Why are you here? You are having a great time. At the tense moment when everyone was enjoying themselves and Jiraiya moved and dodged and counterattacked, a voice suddenly resounded in everyone's ears. Everyone was awakened by the sound at the same time, and their eyes looked at the place where the sound came from. On the empty land, a pink portal appeared out of thin air. A blonde-haired boy came out from inside and said jokingly in surprise. Nine Tails Jinchuriki, Uzumaki Naruto. I have seen Naruto's dried persimmon ghost shark, and shouted with a strange expression when I saw the person coming. They're negotiating to take back Nine Tails, which just delivered itself. When the other people heard the name, their eyes lit up one after another, and they also looked at the person with different expressions. Nine Tails Jinchuriki, you came just in time. Leave it to me to deal with it here, you go to recycle the Nine Tails. Tiando Pain stared at Naruto in the portal that suddenly appeared, and said indifferently to the crowd. That portal, after recovering Nine Tails, will naturally know what it is. Naruto. Hurry up and turn into a beast, these people are not simple characters. Although Jiraiya didn't know why Naruto appeared, she still reminded loudly. Seeing the power of the tailed beast Naruto, Jiraiya is not worried about anything. Do more people bully less? I'm not alone. Naruto looked at the rushing Akatsuki member, raised the corner of his mouth, and muttered to get out of the way. The next moment, Orochimaru, Tsunade, and Seiko came out one by one from inside. Orochimaru, Tsunade. How did you guys show up with Naruto? Seeing Jiraiya, an old friend, her eyes were as big as a copper bell, and she opened her mouth and exclaimed. Because Orochimaru didn't kill third Hokage directly, Jiraiya saw Orochimaru, and didn't reach the point of shouting and killing. Oh. Oops, my ugly appearance will definitely make Orochimaru and the others laugh at me. Especially Tsunade. Jiraiya suddenly came to her senses, she looked in sage mode, scratched her hair in distress and said angrily. Little did he know, Tsunade wasn't paying too much attention to him at all. Now Tsunade, apart from the same personality and lifestyle as before, Naruto is the only one emotionally. Mistaken Jiraiya, it seems that we each have different unique moves. You look like this, really sweet. Orochimaru glanced at Jiraiya, smiled mockingly, but focused on Naruto. This guy is really not as simple as he imagined. This pink portal that can span thousands of miles is not inferior to Flying Thunder God. Orochimaru, I never thought you would dare to appear here. What are you doing today? Conan looked at Orochimaru cautiously and asked with a straight face. At this time, Conan was very fortunate. This time it was in time for the meeting of all staff. Otherwise, she and Pain would not be able to cope with so many strong men. What? That's taking Rinnegan, of course. This time, I won't fail. Orochimaru stared at Conan, as well as the heavens and hells around him, with a hint of curiosity in his eyes, and said with undisguised greed. But Naruto beside him doesn't think so. Naruto is actually interested in Rinnegan, not to say no, but it is really not great. The reason he promised Orochimaru to come here is actually to get Honkai points for the plot of Honkai Akatsuki. What he is really interested in is changing the fate of Nagato and Akatsuki. Rinnegan or something, who has the ability to copy gloves, isn't just a casual possession. Is that the masked man? Sako's eyes flicked to Uchiha Itachi, staring fixedly at the masked man Obito, and said angrily. The Scarlet Eternal Mangekyo suddenly appeared, making Obito's heart palpitate. When Obito returned to the outside world, he put on his mask again. Sannin is here, and that creepy Nine Tails Jinchuriki. It seems that it is impossible not to work hard today. Shark muscle. The small shark stared at the few people on the opposite side, and with its intact arm, it took out the big sword shark muscle behind it, and whispered excitedly. The shark muscle in his hand also seemed to understand, and responded with a strange cry. Kakuzu on the other side also had a thought, and quickly retracted the 3 Earth Resentment clones, which were distributed on his shoulders and back. Use the strongest Earth Grievance fusion mode. The Red Sand Scorpion also took out his favorite work, the 3rd Cage human puppet. At the same time, with a movement of the scorpion's fingers, the chakra line pulled Hidan and his head to his side. Quickly hook up Hidan's body, now is not the time to joke around. Deidara also quickly chewed the clay to prepare his own C3 Garuda. The atmosphere is tense instantly, and the battle is about to start. 3rd Cage. I see. The 3rd Cage, known as the strongest Cage in history, is the man who triggered the 3rd Ninja World War. It was actually killed by Sand Shinobi's Red Sand Scorpion. Is really a great irony. Tsunade looked at 3rd Cage, who had turned into a human puppet, and at Scorpion, who looked like a boy, and sighed. At the beginning, Sand Shinobi launched a war on the grounds of Third Kage's disappearance, which eventually led to the Third Ninja World War. Now it seems that Sand Shinobi is slapping the face. That's the end of the conversation. Scorpion's eyes sharpened, and with a low shout, he moved his hands together, and Third Kage turned into an afterimage and rushed towards Naruto and the others. I'll play with you. Orochimaru sharpened his eyes, and rushed towards Third Kage. Seiko, who had been eyeing the masked man for a long time, rushed towards the masked man Obito without saying a word. Tsunade also faced Kakuzu and Hidan, who rushed forward. Konan and Kisame rushed towards Naruto, heaven and hell, against Jiraiya. Deidara controls the giant bird to hover in the sky, ready to drop bombs in the air at any time. Only Uchiha Itachi, standing in front of black-white Zetsu, remained motionless. You guys are not my opponents. Naruto's momentum changed, and the Nine Tails chakra coat was ignited on his body, and the Nine Tails chakra around him quickly manifested, looking at the two of them jokingly. Interrupt him. Seeing Naruto's change, Konan gave a cold drink, waved his hand and attacked with a wide range of paper pieces. Kisame also picked up speed, rushing towards Naruto. But their speed, in front of Naruto who turned into a tailed beast, is simply not enough. All of Konan's attacks were blocked by the beast-tailed Naruto. Including those detonators, it didn't hurt Naruto at all. Naruto, who turned into a beast with a tail, waved his big hand, and the two giant chakra hands grabbed Konan and Kisame. With the thought of Naruto, Kisame, an ugly man, was sent flying for an unknown distance. As for Konan, well, the perception under chakra's control is even stronger. Konan is also a very predictable existence, universal pull. Tsunade, who was attacking Jiraiya, saw Konan being caught by Naruto, immediately dropped Jiraiya, pointed at Konan and said indifferently. A gravitational force emanated from Tsunade's hand, and Naruto's chakra's hand was also dragged through the doctor involuntarily. Want to? There are no doors. Naruto grinned lightly, grabbed Konan hard, and pulled Konan into Nine Tails' body. Coincidentally, because both sides were exerting force, Konan's clothes were pulled a little messy, which made Naruto's eyes pop. Damn guy. I will fight with you. Konan was also a little dazed by the sudden disappearance, and shouted out of embarrassment. His body instantly turned into countless pieces of paper, and rushed towards Naruto overwhelmingly. This majestic appearance, not to mention the sea of 600 billion detonating talismans. There are at least a few million scales. Naruto clearly saw that on each piece of paper, there was a group case with a detonating symbol. Naruto's eyes changed rapidly, and with a low drink, the Amaterasu black flame in the left eye appeared instantly, and within half a second, the pieces of paper were incinerated. Of course, Konan was not among them. When she launched the attack, she had already turned into pieces of paper and fled here. Still have Mangekyo Sharingan. Such a huge body, even I can't stand it. It seems that Nine Tails was just sealed first. After Tsunade saw Naruto's eyes, the indifferent eyes flickered, and he put his hands together and snorted coldly. Planetary devastation. Tsunade's palm slowly separated, a small ball emerged in his hand, and he threw it towards Naruto. As soon as the black ball appeared above the Nine Tails transformed Naruto, the huge pulling force dragged him to the sky. Nagato. Why don't you play your cards according to the routine? It's a pity that I can crack it when I am in a runaway state, let alone me who is perfect Nine Tails Jinchuriki. Wind-style Rasengan Shuriken. Naruto stared at the black ball above, murmured disdainfully, a Rasengan Shuriken containing Nine Tails chakra condensed in his hand, and threw it out. Attracted by the black ball, Wind-style Rasengan's Shuriken exploded at super-fast speed, and hit the black ball's sphere. Under the stalemate between the two forces, a more violent tearing force broke out and appeared in the air. Seeing this, Tsunade Pain immediately increased chakra, and at the same time threw a black stick to stab Naruto. He wants to use the yin and yang to escape the black stick to disrupt the chakra resonance of Naruto and Nine Tails. But Naruto's speed was even faster, and the tail behind him was thrown out in an instant, smashing Tsunade Pain into the air with one blow. At the same time, another wind-style Rasengan Shuriken was thrown at the black ball. Under the blessing of two wind-style Rasengan Shurikens, the black ball persisted for a second or two before being broken. Summoning technique. Beast Dao, who was fighting Jiraiya, had a flash of determination in his eyes, his body retreated a few meters, his hands were sealed again, and he slapped the ground and shouted. A cloud of smoke drifted past, and 4 figures appeared beside the animal road. Tsunade, who was sent flying by Naruto, also jumped and landed beside the 5 people after 2 jumps. Pain 6 paths, dang sauce. This sudden change, as well as the reality of the 6 double Rinnegan, made everyone in the battle stop and look over. Nine Tails Jinchuriki, I admit you are amazing. However, God cannot fail. 9 tails must be recycled today. Tiando Pain stood at the front, looking at the indifferent and arrogant Shundao who had turned into a tailed beast Naruto. 6 guys, 6 pairs Rinnegan. You, who are you? Before Naruto could speak, Jiraiya, who was closest to Pen 6 Paths, stared at the 6 people and asked loudly. But Pain 6 Paths ignored Jiraiya, and stared at 9 Tails Naruto with scorching eyes. Recycling 9 tails. I have a lot of 9 tails, it depends on whether you have the ability. Summoning technique. Naruto stared at Pain 6 Paths with a playful face, and shouted while clapping his hands on the ground while talking. The next moment, bang bang bang. A series of 9 streams of smoke rang out around Naruto, and under the cover of the white smoke, 9 ferocious behemoths of different sizes appeared beside Naruto. Behind each one, there are 9 tails swaying in the wind. Sorry, you are surrounded by me. Naruto shouted loudly as he looked at the crowd with dilated pupils and horrified faces. Range Shinobi Village Nagato, who was hidden on the high-speed rail, opened his eyes in a daze, and rubbed his own eyes stupidly. How is this possible? How come there are so many 9 tails? Moreover, they are all entities, not clones. After confirming again through the perspective of Pen 6 Paths, Nagato exclaimed with disbelief. On the battlefield several kilometers away, 10 9 tails of different sizes appeared in front of the stunned crowd. The terrifying coercion emitted by the 9 tails made everyone present horrified. Except for Naruto, which is chakra-tailed as a beast, the other 9 tails are all actualized. Of course, only Naruto has the largest tail beast. The 9 of them are the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th generation 9 tails divisions of Qingchu Mountain. 3 pieces of 8 tails version, 4 pieces of 3 tails version, and 2 pieces of Wentai version. Gouda. This is too unreasonable. There are 10 9 tails? Deidara swallowed, stopped making C3 Garuda, looked at the 9 tails of different sizes in surprise and said dumbfounded. Under such circumstances, even Rinnegan should have no chance of winning. Kakuzu also took a few steps back, looked at the 9 tails and Tsunade vigilantly, and murmured in an inaudible voice. Konoha's 9 tails turned out to be not 1, but 10. This joke is not funny at all. Scorpion controlled 3rd Cage to surround him, looked at the 9 tails with cloudy eyes and said in shock. But, why are there 10 9 tails? Aren't tailed beasts all individual existences? Uchiha Itachi looked at the many 9 tails, looked at the masked man Obito with flickering eyes, and asked in doubt. In Itachi's heart, the only one present is Obito who claims to be Uchiha Madara, so what do you know? However, Obito is also confused at this time. He really doesn't know about this. When he planned the 9 Tails Rebellion, there was obviously only one 9 tails. Madara also said that there are only 9 tailed beasts, or 9 different tailed beasts. But this also confused as Black Zetsu. He knew very well that when Sage of 6 Paths divided the tailed beast, it only divided 1 9 tails. No reason, it will become 10 9 tails now. Black Zetsu is very sure that each of these 10 9 tails is a body and can be used as a medium for resurrecting 10 tails. Originally, this should be something that makes Black Zetsu happy. However, with 10 9 tails teaming up, they can't beat them at all now. Is there a possibility that 9 tails has a baby? The masked man Obito touched his head in boredom, and blurted out without going through the brain. Uchiha Itachi Black Zetsu. Obito, how dare you think that 9 tails is a product of chakra, how could they have children? When everyone was confused, Jiraiya, Orochimaru, Tsunade, and Seiko all had similar expressions. Orochimaru looked into Naruto's eyes, before the shock and desire to explore became stronger. Rinnegan. That's it, no wonder you want to summon us out. Qingchu Yuzao stared at Pain 6 Paths with squinted eyes and grinned strangely. They, all sharing the memory of Kurama, know something of the future's existence. Yuzao, Yuxi, Yujing, Xingchun, Xingguang, Xingyao, Xingmang. The 7 of you team up with Pervy Sage to deal with the 6 of them. New moon, full moon, the 2 of you are rushing outside, you can't let one go. Naruto stood inside the head of the tailed beast Kurama, commanding loudly. Shinue and Manue, 2 Wentai level guys, immediately jumped to the outer battlefield, watching from the sidelines with great interest. Yuzao, Yuxi, Yujing, Xingchun, Xingguang, Xingyao, and Xingmang, the 7 of them formed a circle in an instant, enclosing Pain 6 Paths in the middle. Jiraiya looked at the new force who had joined in suddenly, and while being stunned, she came to the front with joy and looked at Pain's 6 paths. Nagato, tell me why they have your Rinnegan? Jiraiya stared straight at the animal road that resembled Nagato, and asked curiously. Ms. Jiraiya, is this question important? 9 tails, I had to recycle one today. Nagato, who was behind Pain's 6 paths, although he was also dripping with cold sweat at this time, still gritted his teeth to control the beast and snorted coldly. It's just that the meaning in these words is obviously weaker. There are 10 9 tails. Since you don't want to say it, then I can only say it after defeating you. Everyone, here we go. Seeing that Nagato is so obsessed, Jiraiya had no choice but to call on the 9 tails to launch an attack. In an instant, 6 paths Pain was grabbed by the 7 9 tails and Jiraiya, scrambling around and hastily parrying. Slap in the face, it's that fast. Naruto, who was standing outside watching the excitement, nodded in satisfaction. This is the power that a teacher should have in educating his disciples. In Hokage, there is always a plot where the disciple kills the teacher, and today it can be regarded as a rewrite. The other members of the Akatsuki, seeing Naruto's power, stood there and watched in fear. Only on Sako's side, the Scarlet Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan watched the masked man Obito. Amaterasu. After the probing attack just now, Seiko has confirmed that the masked man can't hollow, so he resolutely focused his eyes on his arms, and activated the pupil technique. Obito, who had been keeping an eye on Seiko, immediately dodged sideways. Uchiha Itachi, standing next to Black-White Zetsu, also looked at Black-White Zetsu when Seiko launched an attack, and the same pupil technique was launched. Caught off guard, Black-White Zetsu's body was instantly wrapped in black flames. Itachi, are you going to betray Akatsuki? Black Zetsu quickly threw away White Zetsu, and gave up a part of his body, and said bitterly on the ground. Although I don't know what you are, but just relying on your ability to silently collect ninja information, you cannot be left as a scourge. Uchiha Itachi stared at the pool of liquid Black Zetsu, snorted coldly. Amaterasu launched again. It's a pity that this time, Black Zetsu was ready and sank into the ground in an instant, avoiding the invasion of Amaterasu. No, the current situation is too dangerous. Nagato's eyes are likely to be lost. I'm going to do a good job with the second plan. Black Zetsu, who had escaped underground, cursed angrily, and quickly escaped underground. Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Itachi, when did you change your eyes? Obito was also at this moment, saw Itachi's Mangekyo pattern, and shouted in shock. Before, Obito saw Sako's Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and since he hadn't seen it, he didn't suspect anything. But Itachi's Mangekyo pattern, he has seen it before. Suddenly, Obito suddenly thought of something, and looked into Zuo-Z's eyes in surprise. In those eyes, the Mangekyo pattern from Itachi's past appeared faintly. Tsukuyomi. When Seiko saw that Obito dared to look at her, he sent Tsukuyomi to serve without hesitation. Obito snorted, Mangekyo pupil power and Hashirama cell power exploded, breaking free from Sako's Tsukuyomi space instantly. In this, there is also the reason of inexperience in using Tsukuyomi as a seat. However, Obito is not as safe as it seems. The moment Obito broke free from Tsukuyomi, Naruto, who was watching the play, suddenly moved his eyes and launched Kamui directly at Obito's head. For Obito, Naruto does not have the original Naruto's heart of Mary. No matter what the reason is, he is the existence that killed the parents of this body. He will never waver in this position. Besides, killing the man behind the scenes that triggered the Fourth World War ahead of time would also be rewarded with Honkai points. How is this possible? Obito felt the twisted space in his head, looked at Naruto in horror, his head exploded. Naruto, how come there is a Mangekyo Sharingan? It still exists the same as Kakashi Hitomi Jutsu. But at this moment, he is not allowed to think too much. Obito immediately urged the Kamui pupil technique to interrupt the other party's Kamui pupil technique, so as to avoid being hanged. You know, he is now a materialized body, Kamui space. Kakashi was sitting on the stone slab recovering chakra, suddenly felt a distortion in the space. Obito's head suddenly appeared, and recovered quickly. The speed was so fast that it was too late for him to react. But Kakashi also took this opportunity to know that the outside battle is beneficial to him. Otherwise, how could Obito know that he is here and use the Kamui pupil technique? Outside world, quite a quick response. Was going to send your head into the Kamui space to dig up that Mangekyo later. Then, let's copy a wave first and then say. Naruto looked at Obito, who reacted quickly, and curled his lips with twinkling eyes. Immediately afterwards, the ability to copy gloves of 2000 points appeared again in his hand. This time, he cooperated with Orochimaru and brought Tsunade with him, just for this reason. Without bringing them all together, how can you maximize the ability to copy the glove? If you really want to play with the Shao organization, he alone plus 9-tailed beasts is more than enough. The time limit of half an hour for the ability to copy gloves is enough for him to touch all the people he wants to copy now. Although he has no shortage of 2,000 points now, why not do things that cost the same money and earn more? Well, Jiraiya is an accident. His ability was originally not within the scope of Naruto's consideration. Really, Jiraiya's Sage Mode is too ugly, he doesn't like it. Naruto, wearing ability copy gloves, came to Tsunade's side in an instant, and got used to it naturally. So what? Don't get it wrong. Name: Senju Tsunade. Abilities: Strange Power, Painful Foot, Healing Jutsu, Chakra Scalpel, Shadow Clone Technique. 100 Healings Mark, 100 Healings Mark Solution, Ninja Art, Meiotic Regeneration Baihao Technique. Summoning Katsuyu, Katsuyu Big Split, Katsuyu Technique. Naruto accepts these abilities and is not greedy for more. Only Guile, Tongtianjiao, Healing Jutsu, Chakra Scalpel, 100 Healings Mark, 100 Healings Mark Solution, Ninja Art, Meiotic Regeneration Baihao Technique were copied. In a blink of an eye, Naruto has the medical abilities second only to Tsunade. Immediately, Naruto flashed in front of Orochimaru again. This one is the highlight. With Orochimaru's cautiousness, it is naturally a bit difficult to get in touch with him. However, in the face of Naruto's speed, it is only a short contact, and there is no problem. Name: Orochimaru Ability: Soil Substitute Crack, Wind Style Great Breakthrough, Wind Style Wind Cut Technique, Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique. Seal of 5 Elements, Software Modification, Curse Seal, Seal of Curse, Orochi Flow Body Replacement Technique, Summoning, Triple Rashomon, White Scaled Serpent. Ninja Sheku Bind, Summoning 10,000 Snakes, Summoning 10,000 Snakes Array. Forbidden Technique Impure World Reincarnation, Forbidden Technique Living Corpse Reincarnation, Forbidden Technique Baki Technique. Naruto was dazzled by Orochimaru's ultra-luxury panels. However, he still only copied Forbidden Technique Impure World Reincarnation, Forbidden Technique Living Corpse Reincarnation, Orochimaru Body Replacement Technique, Summoning, Triple Rashomon. The rest of the messy ninjutsu is tasteless to the current Naruto. Then, Naruto got on target, Pen 6 Paths and Obito. As for the other members of the Akatsuki organization, Naruto really doesn't like their abilities. Including Hidan's undead ability and Curse to Kill. Without him, it's too ugly. However, when Naruto cast his eyes on Obito, there was a look of doubt in his eyes. Seiko and Itachi, the two were working together to besiege Obito. And Obito did not continue to use Kamui Hollow. This is unscientific. At this time, the besieged Obito was also somewhat overwhelmed. After all, the opponent is the existence of 2 pairs of eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. I can only retreat first. One Kakashi is better than both of them. Obito dodged Itachi's attack again, determined to activate Kamui immediately, and hide in the Kamui space. Seeing this scene, Naruto's eyes flickered, and he immediately urged Kamui to interrupt Obito's spell. At the same time, he stretched out his hand to grab it, and a golden hand of chakra grabbed onto King Dai. Entity. Naruto showed such an expression, the figure came to Obito in an instant, and the palm of the hand wearing the ability copy glove touched it. Name: Uchiha Obito Abilities, Single Mangekyo Sharingan, Kamui, Single 3 Tomo Sharingan, Hashirama Cell, Poor Wood Style. Fire Style Great Fireball Technique, Fire Style Fengshen Fire Technique, Fire Style Bakufuranwu, Uchiha Flame Formation. Sealing Technique Phantom Dragon 9 Seals, Untied Tail Seal, Illusion Sharingan, Izanagi. Wood Style Cutting Technique, Wood Style Hell Chaos. The moment Obito was touched by Naruto, he immediately evacuated Kamui regardless of the consumption. But Naruto is not a vegetarian, he immediately copied a single Mangekyo Sharingan, Kamui, Uchiha Flame Formation, and Untied Tail Seal. As for Hashirama cells in inferior wood style Naruto, I don't like it at all. Sometimes there is a time machine, and it would be better to directly copy Hashirama's own ability. At the same time, Obito's figure disappeared, and Naruto's eyes Kamui also resonated. As we all know, the Mangekyo pupil technique with both eyes together can not only activate Susanoo, but also accelerate the speed and power of the pupil technique. I don't consider it here, Madara's blind-eyed Susanoo's hooker. Naruto's eyes moved, and he disappeared in front of Seiko and Itachi in an instant. Kamui's space as soon as Obito appeared, Kakashi, who had been waiting for a long time, was immediately greeted by Chidori. Fortunately, Obito reacted quickly and quickly dodged sideways, avoiding serious injuries at the cost of one arm. However, when Obito and Kakashi confronted each other, a figure appeared in front of Obito almost instantly. The right hand carries a fluorescent light like chakra scalpel, which pierces the mask in the belt as fast as lightning. Obito's mask is like paper in front of the sharp chakra scalpel. Before Obito could react, his Mangekyo Sharingan was precisely poached by the opponent. What? You? Why do you know this pupil technique? After the mask shattered and fell off, Obito stared at Naruto with the transplanted left eye 3-God Jade, covered his empty right eye, and said angrily. Mr. Kakashi. Why are you here? Naruto ignored Obito's yelling, but asked Kakashi, who was out of breath. At the same time, Naruto also realized why Obito didn't use hollow feelings or Kakashi, the sixth son, stealing chicken here. Who? I'll talk about this later. Why did you appear here? What's going on outside? Is Jiraiya-sama alright? Kakashi slumped on the ground with ease and asked. Chidori just now consumed his recovered chakra again. With the arrival of Naruto, Kakashi is now a stable batch. Well, everything is fine. Teacher Kakashi, I will take you out with me after I kill him. Naruto saw that Kakashi didn't answer the question, and after a perfunctory sound, he looked at Arrancar's Obito with killing intent, and said coldly. Naruto, we still bring him back for a public trial. We don't know yet. What is their purpose of capturing the tailed beast? What is Akatsuki's purpose? Kakashi hurriedly opened his mouth to stop. Kakashi, who didn't know the outside situation, is still thinking about Akatsuki's harmfulness. Take it back for a public trial? Kakashi-sensei, are you sure you want to do this? If my wife knew, the culprit who killed my parents was your companions. I'm afraid it will be very sad. Naruto froze, turned his head and looked at Kakashi strangely and said. Yes, probably not. Kakashi was reminded by Naruto, and thought of something. His face was startled, and he smiled sarcastically. As for Naruto knowing Obito's identity and the initiator of the Nine Tails Rebellion, Kakashi has already stopped paying attention to it. This disciple is a very mysterious existence. Even though, he just knew it not too long ago. Master? Companion? Kakashi, what does he mean by that? When Obito heard these two words, his head froze, and he turned into a one-eyed 3-tomo Sharingan, staring at Kakashi, and asked in a trembling voice. He and Kakashi's companion, there is only one person. But isn't she dead? Could it be? Thinking of that impossible fact, Obito's pupils widened, his breathing became short of breath, and his body trembled involuntarily. Naruto, let's go out first. Kakashi was questioned by Obito in this way, and he thought of Obito's nervousness when the words came to his mouth, so he ignored Obito's question and said to Naruto. Fine. However, it is still necessary to have an insurance. The seal of the self-karma curse. Naruto changed his mind, let Obito see Lin and Kakashi together, and then killing him would be a good punishment, so he agreed. But just in case, Naruto left a body-binding spell on Obito. Obito, without Mangekyo, is here to be slaughtered. After doing all this, Naruto grabbed Kakashi with one hand and appeared outside in an instant. Nagato is still there waiting for him to copy. Lin, is it really you? After the two left, Obito, bound by the curse seal, fell to the ground and murmured inconceivably. The 3-tomo Sharingan who was left alone, his eyes became slack for a while, and his thoughts returned to that innocent boyhood. Outside world, my chakra, restored. Kakashi stretched out his hands in disbelief, feeling the state of his body in horror, and whispered in surprise. This is one of the powers of Nine Tails, I'll go there first. Naruto let go of Kakashi's shoulders indifferently, explained with a smile, and quickly ran towards Pen 6 Paths. Is this what it feels like to wait for the wind? Naruto-kun, I am looking forward to your performance more and more. Orochimaru looked at Naruto's back, subconsciously licked the corner of his mouth, and sighed with burning eyes. He came here this time, and basically didn't show any combat power. The members of Akatsuki are just silently confronting each other now, watching the battle of Pen 6 Paths. Basically no one is stupid enough to desperately. Now, the winner is the boss with the Rinnegan. Here comes the guy. The current situation will not change in the slightest if it continues. That's the only way. Nagato passed through the animal road, and when he saw Naruto who was rushing over, he felt certain and his hands began to seal. At the same time, Pain Wudao, who was being hunted down by the 7 Nine Tails, suddenly froze and fell to the ground. Only Tiando Pain stepped on the ground and went straight to Kong Chen. Conan, get out of here quickly. I'm going to fix them all at once. Nine Tails, Konoha Shinobi, Orochimaru, let's bear the power of God together. How many floors can a bag of rice resist? Feel the pain. A bag of rice can resist the second floor, think about the pain. A bag of rice is so tiring. Accept the pain. A bag of rice is so tiring, understand the pain. Tsunade pain rose rapidly, and he was still speaking the second line that made Naruto feel speechless. Brother, who gave you the confidence to let us bear the pain? It seems that you are the one who is hunted down now. However, it is also more convenient for Naruto. Tailed beast bomb is ready, smash him to pieces for me. Naruto quickly turned into a beast, and landed beside Tamamo Oka, pointing at the heavenly Dao Pain in the sky. Haki shouted. Pain 6 paths is a dead body and cannot be copied through the ability to copy gloves. At the beginning, Naruto didn't plan to copy them, but he wanted to find Nagato to copy them, and dig Rinnegan by the way. Okay. Kurama, together with the 7 nine-tails, roared at the same time, quickly condensing the tailed beast bomb in their mouths, and 8 black-tailed beast bombs quickly formed in the mouths of the 9 tails. Mouth mud. Starting now, who will give you a bag of rice, let the world feel the pain. Spicy, Tiansen, Shinra Tianjung. Tsunade Pain gathered chakra for a moment, and shouted again. How many floors does a bag of rice withstand? I want to see if you can resist the beating. Naruto opened his eyes, and after clearly seeing Tsunade Pain's movements, the corners of his mouth curled up, and he shouted loudly. Boom boom boom. The eyes of the 7 nine-tails were fixed, and 8-tailed beast bombs, 1 big, 3 middle, 4 small, burst out from their mouths at the same time. The 8-tailed beast bombs rushed towards the sky with almost no dead angle. At the same time, Tsunade Pain's Super Shenluo Tianjung also launched. In the sky, the huge repulsive force collided violently with the 8-tailed beast bombs in the blink of an eye. 2 groups of destructive energies erupted in midair in an instant. The power of Chao Shenluo Tianjung is indeed extraordinary, but it is not enough to see in front of the 8-tailed beast bombs. Just persisting for less than 2 or 3 seconds, the repulsive barrier was broken by huge energy. In the sky, a dazzling white light flashed, and a huge buzzing sound and explosive airflow rushed into the sky at the same time. Even on the ground, it was affected by this huge energy, blowing out a super terrifying hurricane no lower than the 10th level. Heavenly Dao Pain above the sky was directly bombarded by this huge energy, and there was nothing left. The Akatsuki people below, Seiko, Sannin and others, feared that the chakra would suck the ground, and looked at Naruto in horror. This is the horror of Naruto. Such an attack, no ninja village can bear such a blow. Is this the horror of an army of tailed beasts? Jiraiya in Sage mode has extraordinary perception ability and the deepest feeling. She stared at the sky in a daze and said in a daze. Naruto. Seiko also looked at Naruto with complicated eyes, standing proudly on the top of the 9 tails, with a hint of strangeness and unwillingness in his beautiful eyes, he murmured in a sense of loss. Tsunade and Jiraiya both stared at Naruto with staring eyes. It's just the meanings in the eyes, different from each other. Kakashi looked blank. He just came out of the Kamui space and saw 10 nine tails, Sannin, and Seiko. Then there's this scene. At this moment, Kakashi is dumbfounded. And the people who knew it were frightened to the point of splitting their livers. With such terrifying power, they really can't stand it. No wonder. Akatsuki's previous strategy was to gather all tail beasts to make super weapons. This terrifying power is definitely a deterrent to the existence of the whole ninja world. Deidara, Scorpion, Kakuzu, and Hidan secretly observed the terrain and prepared to run away with buckets. Knowing that there was no chance of winning, Twitch died here. Konan is being watched by Uchiha Itachi and can't move at all. Itachi has no intention of letting go of this number 2 figure on the bright side of the Akatsuki organization. Cough cough cough. Unexpectedly, the combination of 8 nine tails would produce such a powerful force. They even gave Yahiko's body to. No, Konan is not back yet. For Konan, I have to work hard. Nagato, who is hidden in Rain Shinobi village, recalled the horror scene that Heavenly Dao Pain had just fed back, and he felt a lingering fear in his heart. However, now he has only 2 ways to go. Either abandon Konan and run away, or fight Naruto. Obviously, Nagato's choice will not be the former. On the battlefield, summoning Geto statue. The crouching animal said, suddenly opened his eyes and stood up, and shouted again with his hands in seals. Roar. At the foot of the animal road, a super monster with a ferocious face appeared with a bang. Its exaggerated body shape is no less than that of Kurama. The whole body is like wood, the eyes are wrapped in white cloth, and the 2 arms like Optimus Prime are supported on the ground. The part below the waist, which is deep in the ground, does not appear. 10 Tails Golem. The 9 Tails looked at the ferocious monster, their expressions changed, and they revealed the other party's identity. They have not forgotten that in the future screen, the 9-tailed beasts are quickly pulled into the body by the 10 Tails Golem to absorb them. 9 tails of different sizes reacted instantly, and quickly dodged to Kurama's side. 10 Tails Golems restrain the tailed beasts, making them very afraid. Stay safe with Naruto. Don't worry everyone. Next, leave it to me. An empty shell of 10 tails that's strong on the outside but strong on the inside. Naruto looked at the 10 Tails Golem on the opposite side, clapped his hands together, and shouted confidently. Crazy guy, drink. Seeing Naruto's dismissive look, the beast shouted angrily and urged the 10 Tails Golem. The calm 10 Tails Golem roared and opened its huge ferocious mouth, and a purple dragon-shaped phantom spit out from its mouth. This is the first time Nagato summoned the dragon chakra from 10 Tails. One of the human abilities that can absorb souls. As soon as Naruto saw this, he understood what kind of move it was. He couldn't let the other party suck his soul or 9 Tails' soul. Facing such an invisible attack, Naruto directly activated the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and said in a low voice. The rushing purple dragon-shaped phantom was immediately enveloped by overwhelming Amaterasu black flames. The purple dragon shadow rolled and struggled like a python. Great burial seal in the desert layer. At the same time, Naruto controlled Kurama to pat the ground with both hands, copying Shuzuru's magnet-style seal power to activate. Standing on the animal road above the head of the 10 Tails Golem, I haven't figured out what's going on. The ground under the feet of the 10 Tails Golem turned into sand in an instant, and a large amount of sand rushed towards it from all directions like sand waves. Beast Dao immediately urged Chakra to control the 10 Tails Golem to break free from the sand. But the 3 9 tails next to Naruto are not decorations. Yu Zhao, Yuxi, and Yu Jing instantly came to the triangular position of the 10 Tails Golem. The 3 9 tails flapped their 9 tails in a triangle. 27 huge tails, almost covering the entire body of the 10 Tails Golem, is a gigantic tail golem that weighs as much as 1,000 pounds. The 10 Tails Golem, which was not absorbed by a single-tailed beast, could only be forced back into the sand under such force. Seeing this, Naruto broke out chakra again and accelerated the sealing speed. In a blink of an eye, under the unwilling eyes of 10 Tails and the beast, a huge pyramid sealed and buried them inside. Time is running out to copy gloves, hurry up. The beast-tailed Naruto murmured, grabbed Konan who was confronting Itachi, and quickly ran towards Rain Shinobi Village. Konan. Could it be? Jiraiya looked at the back of Naruto grabbing Konan, with doubts in his eyes, and suddenly his heart moved, and he followed quickly. The rest of the people quickly divided into 2 factions and confronted each other. Just, facing 9 tails, Orochimaru the second of Sannin, Tsunade, and Uchiha Seiko siblings. Scorpion, Deidara, Kakuzu, Hidan from the Akatsuki organization, and Kisame brought back by the 4th generation 9 Tails New Moon. This is a group of panic at this time. Fortunately, Orochimaru and others did not pay attention to them at this time. Their gazes were all focused on the 9 tails. Excuse me, are you the children of 9 tails? Orochimaru came to Chingchu Yuxi full of curiosity and asked with great interest. The 9 tails. Rain Shinobi Village. The huge 9 tails turned into Naruto came to the outskirts of Rain Shinobi Village in about 2 minutes. Naruto, who was short on time, grabbed Konan with the hand of chakra, stepped on the ground with his feet, and jumped up like a cannonball, and his figure appeared on the tallest building in Rain Shinobi Village. Naruto dissipated the tailed beast transformation in midair and the 9 tails chakra hand appeared on his body, leading him and Konan to land on it steadily. Boy. What are you doing here? There was a trace of reluctance and determination in Konan's eyes, and he asked Naruto angrily. Are you trying to hide where Nagato is? Then there's no need. What do you think I brought you here for? Naruto looked at Konan with a playful face and joked, leading her and lost inside. In the perception of good and evil under Kurama mode, Naruto clearly felt the malice from Nagato and his position. Uzumaki Naruto, you are finally here. Are you here to kill me? Naruto stepped into the room where Nagato was. The bony Nagato opened the indifferent Rinnegan, looked at Naruto and said coldly. No, just the opposite. I'm here to compile you an Akatsuki. Don't send out the black stick hidden weapon you hide in the machine. Naruto looked at the skinny Nagato who was bound in the machine, his eyes instantly switched to a wide-eyed state, and he said lightly. Naruto's words really made Nagato and Konan somewhat astonished. Nagato was even more frightened, looking into Naruto's eyes in disbelief. He has seen it just now, Naruto has used Mangekyo Sharingan, but he didn't expect to have supercilious eyes. Moreover, it can still be switched freely. How is such a thing possible? And many more. Why? I don't understand. You have worked so hard to come here without any conspiracy. Konan stood next to Naruto, never let down the previous indifference, and questioned nervously. Conspiracy? If you want to talk about conspiracy, then Akatsuki itself is my conspiracy. Nagato, I will help you regain your health. Will also let you know the truth about Rinnegan. And help you revive Yahiko. This is my sincerity. Naruto stepped forward in 2 steps, stretched out his hand generously and passed it in front of Nagato, and said frankly. If you want to get the collapse point, you can only reverse the plot or change the direction of the plot. The protagonist team defected to Konoha and joined Akatsuki. The layout is too small. Let Naruto, the child of destiny, become Akatsuki's boss. Akatsuki organized this ninja group, it would be a pity to destroy it. Nagato is no better than Obito. He hasn't done anything that makes Naruto's thoughts unreasonable, and it is understandable to change and benefit. If it was Nagato who killed Jiraiya, that's a different story. Well, but not without punishment. Konan accepted it with a smile. Nagato and Konan, after hearing Naruto's conditions, their pupils changed and their bodies trembled slightly. Nagato, who has the Rinne Tensei technique, naturally knows that there is a way to resurrect people. But that's a life-changing approach. And the truth about Rinnegan, what does that mean? Seeing that Nagato did not move for a long time, Naruto straightened his body forward, and when Nagato was in a daze, he touched Nagato's body. Name. Nagato abilities. Rinnegan, perception, summoning Rinnegan, making visual sharing. Way of heaven. Universal pull, Shinra sky sign, planetary devastation. Animal way. Summoning Cerberus, Yata bird, chameleon. Hungry Keto. Chakra devours, sealing spells. The way of the world. Extract the soul and dive into the heart. The way of hell. The judgment of the king of hell, the reincarnation of the king of hell. Asura road. Mechanism armor, Asura's attack. Summoning ghetto statue, chakra dragon. Heretic's Rinne Tensei technique. Yuhu Zizai technique, magic lamp body technique, Shangzhuan technique, sealing technique phantom dragon 9 seals, mirror raider technique. Naruto figured out Nagato's ability when he touched Nagato's limbs, and copied it quickly. This time, Naruto copied all of Rinnegan's abilities except those basic ninjutsu. What do you mean? Rinnegan, isn't it my eyes? Can you really resurrect Yahiko? Nagato also woke up after Naruto's copying was completed, his eyes were faintly red, and he stared at Naruto and asked. Certainly. It's just that I want you to be loyal to me in the future. The Shao organization will be my power in the future. Do you have any questions? Naruto, who had gained the benefits, now doesn't take Nagato seriously, and the aura exploded on his body, and he demanded loudly. Can. Nagato stared deeply at Naruto for a moment, then nodded in agreement. If Yahiko can be brought back to life, the 3 of them will be the same as before, and there is nothing unacceptable. Most importantly, Nagato is already powerless against Naruto. Under the eyes, all his actions have been invisible. This makes the chakra black stick that restricts Jinchuriki directly useless. Nagato, all your tragedies, including your loved ones and best friends, all stem from those Rinnegans that don't belong to you. Well, let me tell you about Rinnegan first. Those eyes were transplanted to you by Uchiha Madara when you were very young. You may not believe what I said, so let this person prove it. Naruto looked at the 2 and said with a gurgling smile. The right eye Kamui was activated, the space around him was distorted, and a figure was brought out by Naruto. This ninjutsu is Uchiha Madara. Konan saw Naruto's hollow pupil technique, his beautiful eyes trembled, and he opened his mouth and exclaimed in surprise. No, he's not Uchiha Madara. Nagato also looked at the visitor in amazement, fixed his eyes on the other person's face, and said with a certainty in his eyes. Ha ha. Of course he is not Uchiha Madara, he is the spokesperson of Madara, Uchiha Obito. Rinnegan, the real Uchiha Madara, the eyes that reside in your pupils. Because of the need to let you grow up quickly, they successively planned and participated in the death of your parents, Yuzan of Yahiko. Because of the power of hatred, you will quickly awaken the power of Rinnegan and agree with their plan more. You are a typical example of being sold and helping to count the money. You can ask him all these things. Naruto didn't talk nonsense, and told the inside story directly. Impossible. How do you know this? Obito, who was bound by the seal of self-karma, revealed the 3 Tomo Sharingan, shrank suddenly, and blurted out a shocking shout. This sentence also defaults to the facts in Naruto's words. When Nagato heard Obito's voiceover, his pupils shrank suddenly, and he was in a bad mood. It turned out that the source of all the pain was because of him. Because of him, his parents died tragically. Because of him, Yahiko was forced to commit suicide. It's ridiculous that he was kept in the dark by the other party and cooperated with the other party's plan. But, why? Why is it him? Why is this person me? Nagato suddenly turned his head to look at Obito. The indifferent Rinnegan showed resentment, and asked loudly angrily. But Obito didn't answer his question, he was staring at Naruto puzzled. Nagato, you are the only host chosen by Uchiha Madara in the ninja world for Rinnegan. Only you can unleash the Rinnegan's potential. When he needs it, give up his life and resurrect him. That's why. And Uchiha Obito is just an insurance policy. Seeing that Obito didn't explain, Naruto shrugged helplessly and continued to speak concisely. Impossible. How could Nagato be Uchiha Madara's pawn? Also won't believe that Yahiko died because of Nagato. He was forced to death by Hanzo and Konoha Danzo in order to save me. The dazed Konan suddenly reacted, and shouted angrily with sparkling eyes. This reality made her a little unacceptable. At first, however, she suggested that Yahiko accept Nagato. But if this is the case, he is also one of the murderers. Hanzo, Danzo? Yahiko is dead? Nagato, Konan, what is going on here? Jiraiya's voice suddenly rang in the ears of several people when Konan's voice fell. Immediately afterwards, Jiraiya, who had left Sage Mode, appeared beside them. Mr. Jiraiya, long time no see. Nagato shrank his pupils, looked at Jiraiya with complicated eyes, and said with mixed feelings. Nagato, your body. Only then did Jiraiya notice the skinny and half-disabled Nagato, and he was stunned and surprised. He never imagined that Nagato would turn into such a ghost. Now that you are all here, I will let you see the past and future that originally belonged to you. Tsukuyomi. Naruto looked at the three of them, knowing that the matter would not be clear for a while. Mangekyo Sharingan appeared in his pupils, and he shouted crisply. In an instant, Nagato, Konan, and Jiraiya were all pulled into the Tsukuyomi space by Naruto. As for Obito, Tsukuyomi seems to the outside world to be less than a second, so there is no need to worry. Tsukuyomi space under Naruto's idea. The opening is the plot after the three of Nagato leave Jiraiya. This is to let Jiraiya know about Nagato's changes. Also to make Nagato, Konan, believe in the future he's portraying. Here, Jiraiya sees the three people's pursuit of peace, and sees Yahiko's creation of Akatsuki under the influence of his thoughts. I also saw the naive Yahiko, who was plotted to commit suicide by Hanzo. Danzo and Hanzo, the siege of Akatsuki, and Nagato's anger and resentment, the outbreak of Rinnegan. Finally, Nagato incarnated as Pen Six Paths, killing Hanzo in Ruling Rain Shinobi Village. Similarly, there is also Uchiha Madara, the incarnation of Obito, who tricks Nagato into changing his mind and establishes a new Akatsuki organization. Nagato and Konan looked at these pictures with surprise and nostalgia. There are some things in it that they are sure only they know. But Naruto turned out to be. I see, unexpectedly, so many things happened to you after I left. I'm sorry, I heard the news of your death in battle before, and I thought you had. After reading Akatsuki's past, Jiraiya looked at Nagato and Konan with a little guilt, and sighed deeply. Nagato and Konan looked at each other and silently admitted the truth of the matter. The three of them were about to ask something, Naruto thought, and the picture about the future began to play. The screen transition is the sage Jiraiya's Pain Six Paths. Inside, whether it's Jiraiya's fairy art or Pain Six Paths' various combat information, both sides have strange faces. Because of the encirclement and suppression by the 7-9 tails just now, none of them could display their ninjutsu. In particular, I saw that Jiraiya was willing to risk his life to verify because he wanted to obtain information. In the end, when Pain Six Paths broke their arm and smashed it into a sieve and sank to the bottom of the sea, the expressions of the three of them suddenly changed. Here, Naruto removed the identity display of Jiraiya and Naruto's master and apprentice. Pervy sage. I don't know why you came to Akatsuki with Mr. Kakashi. But in the original history, this is your original end. Naruto looked at the shocked three and explained to Jiraiya. Immediately afterwards, without waiting for Jiraiya to ask questions, the screen turned and came to Pain Village. This time, Naruto has not changed much as usual. Also just changed the fact that he is a disciple of Jiraiya. The three of Jiraiya saw the story of Xianming fighting Pain, 5th generation Tsunade protecting the whole village, and finally Nagato sacrificing himself and launching the Rinne Tensai technique to die. Naruto, why didn't you turn into a tailed beast? Seeing a different picture, Jiraiya asked suspiciously with doubts in his eyes. At the time I wouldn't, pervy sage, do you think that if I know my future, I won't change? The me now is not the me who followed the trajectory of fate. Just like you, the current you is not the one who was killed by the disciples. Naruto pretended to explain mysteriously, and continued to show the rich woman Conan's arrogance and forbearance. He dares to be so unscrupulous, just to let them know who changed their fate because of. What's the meaning of a person saying hello to himself? This shit. He pretended to be Naruto. Under the facial expressions of Nagato and Jiraiya's mouth twitching, Conan's rich woman showed the magnificence of 600 billion detonating symbols. But at the same time, Nagato was too heartbroken to breathe. Conan, too, died in the end. They also saw the true face of the masked man, and the other's target, Rinnegan. Okay, now it's question time. You can ask any questions you have. Naruto's Sharingan trembled, took the three of them out of the Tsukuyomi space, and asked the three of them. In other words, I'm just a pawn to resurrect Uchiha Madara. Just a tool for storing eyes. Ha ha. It's ridiculous that I always thought that I was the existence of the savior. Nagato gave a wry smile, and laughed at himself with a disappointed and dejected look on his face. Now, he has no interest in asking any questions. Sorry, Nagato. This is my fault. I shouldn't put the pressure of the savior on you. I never thought that Rinnegan would be the eyes of Uchiha Madara. Seeing Nagato like this, Jiraiya also blamed herself and sincerely comforted him. At this moment, Jiraiya forgot his original fate of being killed by Nagato. Just blaming himself very much, he handed over an unwarranted prophecy to a child and left. Not booting Nagato correctly. Also, it didn't occur to him that Nagato's Rinnegan wasn't born with it. Ms. Jiraiya. Nagato was stunned by Jiraiya's apology, and he murmured at the corner of his mouth, tears flickered in his eyes. He did fight with the mentality of killing Jiraiya before. For that future, Nagato is also convinced. However, Jiraiya is now. Naruto, you just said that the current you is not the original you. What does it mean? And why do you know the past and the future? Seeing that Nagato was touched, Jiraiya nodded and then turned to look at Naruto, changing the subject and asking. What about this? How to say? I know the future of Naruto, so naturally it has changed. Just like you, pervy sage. If you go back to your teenage years, you will continue to live according to the established track unchanged. It will still change some regrets and live a different and wonderful life. After thinking for a while, Naruto explained ambiguously. Hearing this, Jiraiya, Nagato, Conan, and Obito trembled at the same time. This impossible thing, they have all had this thought. If he hadn't done that at the time, what would have happened in his life? Uzumaki Naruto, I can tell you everything I know. As long as you tell me, how can I return to my youth? Obito, who was lying on the ground, thought of the former girl, with determination in his eyes, and begged loudly. You? You cannot. Obito, you think you are the being who controls Nagato. But in fact, you are also being manipulated by Uchiha Madara. You and Nagato, who are being targeted by Uchiha Madara, cannot escape this cruel fate by themselves. Naruto shrugged helplessly and refused politely. Obito may have faintly seen his own shadow after Nagato's death. But now, he should not have thought of this. Kamui. After Naruto finished speaking, he didn't say much. He activated Kamui and threw Obito into the Kamui space, letting him doubt life by himself. People always have to pay the price for their actions. It's not that you have any reason, what you have done can be forgiven. That's what the Holy Mother would do. The Obito of this world, that's it. Then, let's start our previous agreement. Nagato, you get ready. Naruto reached out and took out a doll old man on crutches, and smiled at Nagato. This is a wish-type item that has been used before, a fallen immortal worth 10,000 points. As long as you help him, your 3 wishes will come true. Under the bewildered eyes of the 3 of Jiraiya, Naruto winded up his clockwork and walked out after the god in distress. Jiraiya and Conan, who didn't know why, followed the past differently. After the god in distress walked out of the tower, he walked straight forward and fell down straight. Seeing this, Naruto immediately stretched out the hand of chakra, and grabbed the fallen god and pulled it back. Then after a while of pleasantries, Naruto started his show operation. God in distress, my first wish is to restore Nagato to good health. Under Jiraiya and Conan's foolish eyes, Naruto said his wish with a smile. The god in distress agreed with a nod of his head, a golden light emitted from his body, and rushed towards Nagato. For Nagato, who didn't know why, after the golden light entered his body, his legs paralyzed by the explosion suddenly felt familiar. The skinny body quickly returns to its full state. The chakra black stick in the body was also squeezed out, and the body recovered quickly. The dull hair instantly returned to bright red. Feeling the new vitality in his body, Nagato let out a low shout, and activated the small-scale Shenluo Tianzheng, and the machines around him were thrown away by the repulsive force. Nagato, with healthy limbs and full of energy, officially debuts. Nagato, your body has recovered. Seeing this, Conan stepped forward 2 steps to Nagato, and shouted happily. How is this possible? Jiraiya looked Nagato up and down, turned his head to look at the god in distress, and shouted in disbelief. My second wish, to revive Yahiko. Naruto ignored Jiraiya and continued to shout to the fallen god. He dared to use this here, not afraid of them knowing it at all. The god in distress agreed again, and the golden light on his body moved. The next moment, an orange figure appeared under the surprised gazes of Jiraiya and the others. What the hell is this 10-year-old boy? Yahiko. Nagato looked at the teenager who appeared, his eyes widened, and the corners of his mouth twitched. Why, Yahiko from his youth? How could this be? Jiraiya and Conan also looked confused and shouted in disbelief. Huh. You two. Why are you so like Nagato and Conan? Teacher Jiraiya. Why are you so old? Boy Yahiko opened his eyes, was also taken aback by the scene, pointed at Jiraiya and said threesome. In Yahiko's memory, he is learning ninjutsu with Nagato, Conan, and Jiraiya. Naruto. What's going on? Jiraiya heard the familiar shout again, scratched her head and asked Naruto. Nagato and Conan also looked at each other, and also looked at Naruto. Maybe it's not enough energy. Boy Yahiko is also Yahiko, you just make do with it. Naruto gave an awkward laugh, and waved his hands in a friendly way. Improvise? Jiraiya, Nagato, and Conan were speechless at the same time. Fortunately, this is the boy Yahiko who remembers them, if I don't know Yahiko from before them. Thinking of that scene, the 3 of them felt awkward for a while. My third wish is... Wait, Cuckoo. Naruto continued to turn his head and was about to say his wish, but before he could say it, Jiraiya interrupted him. Naruto, can you use this wish for me? Jiraiya cheekily came to Naruto's side, looked at the god in distress with bright eyes, and pleaded, licking her face. What do you wish for? Naruto looked at the dramatist Jiraiya speechlessly, and sighed while holding his forehead. I want a pair of see-through eyes similar to white eyes. It's not the kind of supercilious eyes, it's the real clairvoyant eyes. Hey. Jiraiya rubbed her old hands in embarrassment, with a blush on her face, she said cheekily. Naruto. Nagato. Ms. Jiraiya, you are still so stubborn. Conan, who is already Yuji, immediately understood Jiraiya's bad intentions, and cursed angrily. Ms. Jiraiya? Are you Nagato and Yahiko? Hearing Conan's angry reprimand, the young Yahiko asked him tentatively as he had seen the 2 of them familiar. Well, I'm Nagato and she's Conan. Yahiko, now is the world more than 10 years later. Hearing Yahiko's question, Nagato held his forehead and sighed honestly. The former partner and leading brother has become a younger brother in his teens. This reality made Nagato feel uncomfortable for a while. 10 years later? What's the matter with me? Why am I here? What about my future self? Have you changed Rain Shinobi Village, changed the destiny of this country? Yahiko scratched his head in doubt, and asked in anticipation with his eyes shining. Probably, it should be regarded as changing the fate of Rain Shinobi. Yahiko, I will tell you about these things later. The corners of Nagato's eyes twitched slightly, and he looked at Yahiko meaningfully and pretended to be mysterious. Maybe, it would be nice to have a Yahiko brother. Pervy sage. I will not agree to your unreasonable request. Naruto stood on the moral high ground with a righteous face, and ruthlessly rejected Jiraiya's request. A joke. Let Jiraiya have clairvoyant eyes, if he sees the wrong person, wouldn't he suffer? Teacher Jiraiya, you let me down so much. Conan stood beside Naruto, looked at Jiraiya with disdain and snorted coldly. The meaning in that ironic look is self-evident. Cough cough cough. What? Naruto, can you tell me why Uchiha Madara has Rinnegan? Uchiha, isn't there only Sharingan? Jiraiya blushed, and changed the subject in embarrassment. This is a long story. Let me make a long story short. Rinnegan is the evolutionary form of Sharingan. Naruto took out a scroll, unsealed the seal with both hands, and said briefly to Jiraiya. This is indeed a long story short. Jiraiya was left speechless for a while. However, Jiraiya's eyes were now shocked by what Naruto took out. Nagato and Conan also opened their mouths wide, looking at the pile of things. Only the boy Yahiko looked at those scarlet eyes curiously. Well, Naruto brought out the Mangekyo Sharingan that he copied. Naruto, did you dig Uchiha's grave? How can there be so many Mangekyo Sharingan? Looking at the 37 Mangekyo Sharingan on the ground, Jiraiya exclaimed with dilated pupils. Inside, there are 18 pairs of 36 replicas, as well as Obito's Kamui right eye. That is, Itachi's Mangekyo Sharingan. There are so many. Nagato was equally dumbfounded and surprised. My third wish is to eliminate these Mangekyo Sharingan, the side effects of transplant incompatibility, and to be able to replace them at will. Naruto ignored the exclamation of several people, and said to the god in distress. These Mangekyo Sharingan must be used to gain Honkai points. Hidden and tucked away, what is the difference between that and scrap iron? Naruto had such an operation unscrupulously. Mangekyo Sharingan, who is very mana-hungry, can't meet his requirements at all. With my strength, I can't do what you want. You can only choose one-time matching without side effects, and the effect will be lost the second time. This time, the god in distress did not agree directly, but said something that surprised Naruto. Sure enough, the props with 10,000 Honkai points are still of poor quality. If this is Rinnegan, wouldn't it be abolished? However, it doesn't matter anymore. Fine. Then let's get started. Naruto nodded to the fallen god. Another ray of golden light sprinkled on all the Mangekyo Sharingan, and the gods in trouble disappeared. Pervy sage, do you want Mangekyo or not? As long as you open your mouth, I will give you a pair. After getting the Mangekyo transplanted without side effects, Naruto looked at Jiraiya and asked. Bring Jiraiya back to life when he should be dead, and give him a pair of Mangekyo. There are still a lot of Honkai points. If Orochimaru knew, Jiraiya would lie down and win Mangekyo, and he would probably faint in the toilet. Forget about Mangekyo, if you roll your eyes, I'll accept it. Jiraiya first let out a surprise, then scratched her hair in distress, and then gritted her teeth and said firmly. Without clairvoyant eyes, he can barely accept the white eyes. Naruto, Nagato, Konan. This Jiraiya is useless. Naruto, I don't want this Rinnegan anymore. I want to trade Rinnegan for triple pair Mangekyo Sharingan. I'm going to exchange Konan and Yahiko for the City Fountain Sharingan. Nagato on the side, after struggling for a moment, looked at Naruto firmly and said solemnly. Knowing that Rinnegan is not my own Nagato, now I feel a little nervous about this pair of Rinnegan. Who knows, what's behind that Uchiha Madara? Rinnegan for Mangekyo. Nagato, you have an idea. I agreed. Naruto looked at Nagato in surprise, and agreed without hesitation. Rinnegan, just take it and copy it. By the way, you can also gather a wave of 3 people's wool. Multiple shadow clone technique. Naruto formed seals with both hands, and 3 shadow clones came out bang bang bang. Then it begins. The 3 shadow clones went straight to Nagato, Konan, and the boy Yahiko, burning chakra scalpel in their hands, and said excitedly. Naruto, who copied Tsunade's medical skills, is pediatrics in another eye. Now? You actually know medical ninjutsu? Nagato looked at Naruto in surprise, and said in amazement. Can you wait? I haven't thought about it yet. Konan looked at the chakra scalpel in Shadow Clone's hand, and swallowed. Mangekyo. What is that? Why change eyes? Boy Yahiko stared at Naruto Shadow Clone curiously and fearfully, and asked with a blank face. Blind eyes. Gentle fist method acupuncture. The shadow clones ignored their doubts, rolled their eyes directly, stretched out their hands and tapped the acupuncture points of the 3 of them, and started to use them. This made Jiraiya next to her look envious and jealous. This guy Naruto, it doesn't matter if he has Mangekyo Sharingan, but he even has supercilious eyes. How the hell can gentle fist? He wouldn't be surprised if another pair of Rinnegan popped up out of nowhere. Looks like he's digging Rinnegan right now. Shadow Clone, under the blessing of Baian and Tsunade medical ninjutsu, quickly removed the eyes of 3 people. Naruto's body immediately stepped forward and presented them with Mangekyo Sharingan. Nagato transplanted Itachi's eye, left eye Tsukuyomi, right eye Amaterasu. Konan transplanted Sako's eye, left eye Amaterasu, right eye Inferno-style flame control. Yahiko transplanted Fugaku's eye, transferred damage to the left eye, and predictive analysis of the right eye. Only now, Naruto's Mangekyo Sharingan has 7 pairs of Itachi's eyes, 4 pairs of Sako's eyes, 3 pairs of Fugaku's eyes, and 1 Obito's right eye. Well, there's a pair of Rinnegans that just came out of the oven. Healing Jutsu. After completing the eye swap, the 3 Shadow Clone immediately cast Healing Jutsu to quickly heal the wounds of the 3. Tip. Change the fate of the important character Jiraiya and get 30,000 Honkai points. Tip. Change the fate of the important character Nagato and get 50,000 Honkai points. Tip. Change the fate of the important character Uchiha Obito and get 30,000 Honkai points. Tip. Change Konan's fate trajectory and get 20,000 Honkai points. Tip. Change Yahiko's fate setting and get 20,000 Honkai points. Tip. Change the established trajectory of the Shao organization and get 50,000 collapse points. Tip. Change the fate trajectory of Black Zetsu and get 20,000 Honkai points. Tip. Change the important prop Rinnegan to get 100,000 Honkai points. While Naruto was waiting for the three of them, Naruto heard the sound of a trial. Naruto silently calculated in his heart, and he was overjoyed. 320,000 Honkai points. This time, make a big profit. This side of the battlefield when Orochimaru and the Nine Tails got close, Naruto, who had lost Kurama mode, Jiraiya, and Konan quickly came here. Nagato and Yahiko were placed in Rain Shinobi village by them, and they did not come together. When the Nine Tails saw Naruto's return, they immediately turned into white smoke and returned to Qingchu's secret realm. They can't be bothered by Orochimaru, Scorpion, Deidara, Kakuzu, Hidan, Kisame, it's over. Konan jumped in front of them, stared at them with dark pupils and said calmly. Mangekyo Sharingan without side effects, Sharingan can be closed freely like Uchiha. Ended? Several people looked at Konan in surprise, looked at each other a few times, and looked at each other in blank dismay. But they didn't question anything. Konan has always been the leader's deputy, the White Tiger of Dawn, and his words are still very authoritative. From now on, Akatsuki's leader is Uchiha Itachi. Akatsuki's goal is no longer to collect tail beasts. Our future task is to innovate in our respective fields and develop more powerful ninjutsu, forbidden technique. Or explore new technologies and the secrets of the ninja world. The organization will exchange the resources you all need based on your respective research results. Including, but not limited to, various blood succession limits, technology, ninjutsu, forbidden technique, etc. in the ninja world. N. Konan dropped a blockbuster again, making everyone present stupefied. Especially Uchiha Itachi, with his mouth wide open and his face full of disbelief. He came here as an undercover agent, and he betrayed his identity just now. How is this? How big is the undercover all of a sudden? However, watching Konan's sudden transformation of Mangekyo Sharingan, everyone fell silent. Seiko looked at the familiar Mangekyo pattern, and subconsciously looked at Naruto. The resentment, dissatisfaction and doubt in his eyes made Naruto's scalp tingle. This is Naruto's follow-up fleece plan, better than nothing. It's better than killing or disbanding these people. Isn't the Akatsuki organization a super horrific evil organization? He turned Akatsuki into a pioneer organization that promoted the progress of the ninja world. The things they researched in the follow-up can more or less continue to gain collapse points. They can do whatever they want, as long as they don't lose money. After a friendly discussion with Nagato, without the power of Rinnegan, is no longer able to serve as the leader of Akatsuki. Moreover, Nagato has no interest in this now. Now he just wants to continue to grow with Yahiko and Konan. After being rejected amicably by Naruto, Nagato and Yahiko continued as members of Akatsuki with unlimited freedom to develop. Konan was arranged by Naruto as the real power boss of task assessment and material distribution. Naruto is not doing good deeds, sacrificing himself to illuminate others. Let the three of them go out for a ride. Konan became the bridge between him and Shao, sitting in Shao for him. Shaoji White Tiger, he has not seen whether it is really a white tiger. Cultivate the relationship first, and if it doesn't work, use other means to directly accept this white tiger. That's it. Then I will return to the Akatsuki organization. Naruto, do you agree? Orochimaru stood aside, looked at Naruto meaningfully, licked his lips and smiled. He has already seen that Akatsuki is controlled by Naruto. And that kind of rules won't do him any harm. As long as Itachi is fine, I don't care. Naruto didn't pretend, he accepted it generously. Akatsuki Sora-chan, Orochimaru, welcome back. No matter how stupid Itachi is, he still knows what to do now, not to mention he is still a mature genius. Reach out for the next Orochimaru, a former member who came to your door. Scorpion, Deidara, Kakuzu, Hidan, Kisame, none of the five objected, acquiesced to this status quo. If you can't beat it again and again, you have to join. Besides, the current Akatsuki seems to be more free and desirable. Well, except for brainless Hidan and bewildered Kisame. Naruto, now that the matter is settled, we can vomit now. Master Tsunade, haven't you already found it? Kakashi looked at the complicated situation at the scene. A trace of worry flashed in his eyes, and he said, Orochimaru and Naruto are involved, something bad will happen. But Naruto, obviously, is no ordinary kid. He thinks this way, isn't he a little too worried? Alright. Let's go find little Sakura first, and then go back. Naruto's goal has already been obtained, so it doesn't matter what he does. Then he took out any door, opened the door and motioned for several people to retreat. Leave the rest of the mess to Uchiha Itachi, and many more. Naruto, I don't know anything about that masked man yet. Uchiha Itachi suddenly thought of something, and stopped Naruto. This, Conan, they will tell you. Naruto waved his hands without looking back. He was the last one to enter the portal, and sent the door away. Tip. Change the Shao organization camp and get 20,000 Honkai points. Tip. Change Orochimaru's life trajectory and get 5,000 Honkai points. Tip. Change Uchiha Itachi's life trajectory and get 5,000 Honkai points. Tip. Change the trajectory of your own destiny and get 50,000 collapse points. After Naruto disappeared, several prompts came from his ears again. Okay. That's more than 850,000 Honkai points. Naruto silently calculated the balance, thinking to himself. From now on, Rain Shinobi Village will be Akatsuki's stronghold. Come with me. After Naruto and the others left, Conan told them to go to Rain Shinobi Village. With the Naruto endorsement, there is no need to worry about these guys having bad intentions. After the two sides left, only the pyramid that sealed the Ten Tails Golem remained on the ravaged land. Pamphlet Street. Naruto and his party of 6 appeared in this bustling town. Ms. Kakashi, you and Pervy Sage are free. We rest here for one night and return to Konoha tomorrow. Orochimaru, you come with me. After stepping through the portal, Naruto looked at the fading sky and said to Kakashi. After finishing speaking, he signaled Orochimaru and to leave here. Orochimaru gave Jiraiya and Tsunade a wicked smile, and followed quickly, shaking his hair. A moment later, inside a hotel. This is the Mangekyo Sharingan who promised you last time. The perfect Sharingan that can be used freely. This action, Rinnegan, I got it. It's okay to give you one, but not now. Naruto took out a pair of eyes of Fugaku and handed it to Orochimaru, saying frankly. Rinnegan, he hasn't copied it yet, of course we can't give it to him now. The perfect Mangekyo Sharingan. Naruto-kun, you are so intriguing to me. May I know your ability? Naruto-kun. Orochimaru took the Mangekyo Sharingan, with curiosity in his eyes, he said tentatively. Cannot. Orochimaru, I want you to turn the music ninja village into a techno ninja village. After that, set off a real revolution in the ninja world. The current ninja world is too boring. Tomorrow, you come over to get paid for your Rinnegan. Naruto rejected Orochimaru unceremoniously, and after expressing his opinion, he turned and left. With his strength, there is no need to hold Orochimaru. He is looking forward to the copy of Rinnegan and Kamui Eyes. Interesting. Naruto-kun, I will continue to pay attention to you. Orochimaru looked at Naruto's leaving back, put away the Mangekyo Sharingan, his eyes sparkled with wisdom, and the corners of his mouth curled up, whispering in a low voice. Night. Pamphlet Street. Naruto, you're back. As soon as Naruto came back to the hotel, little Sakura excitedly stepped forward, hugged Naruto's arm and said coquettishly. Ahem. Pay attention to the influence, Mr. Kakashi, have they gone back? Naruto withdrew his arm calmly, turned his head and looked at the empty room and asked. Well. Teacher Kakashi and Master Jiraiya said they were going back to avoid suspicion. They said, let's go back to Konoha with Tsunade-sama tomorrow. Naruto, let's go shopping, shall we? The little Sakura pursed her mouth, looked at Naruto with her eyes straight and invited. The inn where Tsunade stayed is not the same one as Sakura Naruto's. The bet between Uchiha and Jiraiya and others prevents them from going back with Naruto. Because of Seiko, they couldn't talk to Tsunade either. However, Jiraiya and Kakashi are not worried about Uchiha at all now because of Naruto's presence. Well, under Naruto's evil intentions, Tsunade accepted little Sakura as his apprentice in advance. Tsunade has a secret relationship with him now, and no one knows on the surface. That's it. I still have something to do now, so I'll go back first. Come find me later. Naruto thought of the eyes he got, left a word, and couldn't wait to return to his room. Now, it's time to reward little Sakura. Well, I know. But the little Sakura obviously misunderstood something, blushing and buried her head in front of her chest and said shyly. Naruto quickly returned to the room and sat down cross-legged, his consciousness linked to Doraemon, spent 50,000 Honkai points, and a replica mirror appeared again. I only put 3 eyes this time, it should be a big gain. Naruto put a pair of Rinnegan and Kamui eyes in front of the replica mirror, came to the back of the replica mirror, turned on the button and said to himself. In Naruto's anticipation, a minute later, Kamui Mangekyo's duplicate appeared. 2 minutes later, a pair of Rinnegan replicas also appeared. 3 minutes later, 2 Kamui eyes turned into 4. 5 minutes later, the double-double Rinnegan turned into a quadruple-double Rinnegan. And those 4 Kamui eyes also became 8 Kamui eyes. Then, the replica mirror disappears. Naruto also got 4 pairs of Rinnegan, 8 Obito right eyes. These 7 replicas, like the Kamui eye, have the characteristics of matching for the first time without side effects. Now, Naruto's inventory is 4 pairs of Rinnegan, Itachi eyelashes, Katsuya eye effects, and Fugaku eye effects bands in 10 pieces. Later, Naruto spent another 5,000 Honkai points to have Doraemon realize a deceptive beak for him. I can't have a private storage space that I can use as I like. Naruto put on a deceiving bird's beak and made a joke for himself. In Ninja World, all spaces are unsafe, includes Kamui space. Besides, Kamui eyes are the standard Mangekyo that Naruto prepares for his women. So Naruto needs a private space to store items. After the golden light from the deceitful bird's beak disappeared, Naruto felt a space as if he knew it by birth. This space is not very large, only about 500 cubic meters. But for Naruto, it is enough for him. After Naruto took out a scroll and unsealed it, he put the 8 pairs of eyes into the nutrition bottle he had prepared and sent them to the storage space. At the same time, I also put everything on my body, including the 13 pairs of Mangekyo Sharingan. This is much more convenient than storage scrolls. Bang bang bang. After finishing these in Naruto, I went to take a shower in the shower room in the room. Today, it was full of dust. While Naruto was washing up, there was a knock on the door. Come in. Don't you usually knock on the door? Naruto, who has eyes and ears, was foaming on his head, pushed open the door of the shower room, and shouted loudly without looking back. With a creak, the sliding door was pulled open, a figure came in, and it quickly closed again. Yo, it's pretty early. Just right, come and rub my back. Naruto turned his back to the visitor, and said loudly and differently. Zuozi looked at this scene with a face full of bewilderment, and was at a loss for a moment. This situation was really beyond her expectation. To be honest, she just came here to fight for Naruto and help her become a 5th-generation project. After seeing Naruto's strength and influence, Sako's inner unwillingness and desire were aroused again. As long as Naruto's support is gained, Hokage's position is guaranteed. The terror of the 10 Tails, Jiraiya and the others absolutely dare not refuse. Becoming a 5th-generation project, the goddess system will definitely have rewards. This is what Zuozi thinks in his heart, and why he came here tonight. But what does it mean to take a shower when you come up here? There was a strange look on Zuozi's face, and there was no movement for a long time. Hurry up. What are you doing in a daze? Naruto didn't feel the little Sakura's movements, Taguchi urged. Well, in Naruto's subconscious, the person who came was little Sakura. Forget it, die and die. We are all men, what are we afraid of? Seiko heard Naruto's urging, thought of her reason for coming, found a reason for herself, and walked forward tremblingly. A moment later, Naruto, you are too much. Zuozi suddenly blushed, shouted in embarrassment, and punched him. Naruto was also slightly taken aback when he heard Sako's voice. This voice is not little Sakura. But now is not the time to worry about this. Naruto dodged and missed Sako's attack. I'm fighting with you. Seeing that Naruto still dared to dodge, Seiko shouted even more angrily. The Scarlet Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan emerged, with blood and tears streaming from its eyes. Sensing the fluctuation of chakra behind him, Naruto also reacted quickly, and immediately ran away with Kamui. The moment Naruto disappeared, a cloud of Amaterasu black flames spread in the bathroom. Naruto, just wait for me. Seiko looked at Naruto who disappeared, a flash of shame flashed in his eyes, and he shouted angrily. Kamui space dam, how could it be a child? Damn it, lousy actually treated her just now. What, the tactility is still okay. Ba ba ba. Don't think so, I'm a straight man. Naruto stood behind a slate, and took out a change of clothes from his private space to change, thinking cursing in his heart. The bound Obito is still some distance away from Naruto and blocked by the stone slab, so there is no need to worry about getting naked. After changing clothes, Naruto Kamui activated again, and appeared in little Sakura's room. Damn guy, what did you think of my Kamui space? Obito, who stayed in the Kamui space, only felt something behind him, but couldn't see anything. He could only roar incompetently. He has already marked small Sakura, Tsunade, Konan and other important people. Naruto. Why are you here? Didn't you say, let me go find you? Little Sakura, who was washing up, saw Naruto who suddenly appeared, jumped up and shouted in surprise. I'm very angry now. Crazy, Naruto urgently needs to sort out the attributes of straight men right now, and hummed straight to the point. Little Sakura. As for rewarding little Sakura, we'll talk about that later. Next day, then let's go back to the village now. Under Sako's murderous gaze, Naruto said to Tsunade, Sakura, and Shizune cheekily. It's just that everyone was absent-minded, and they didn't pay too much attention to Sako's expression. Last night, after Naruto got angry, he transplanted Tsukuyomi's left eye, Kamui's right eye to little Sakura. Then, after resting at little Sakura, I went to Tsunade again. As usual, it was a burst of fiery appeasement, which made Tsunade feel a little dazed now. Who let Naruto use the micropart expansion jutsu on a whim, and hit Tsunade by surprise? Naruto was stared at by Sako's murderous eyes, Renshin said awkwardly. Then turned around and ran away in a hurry. As for the deal with Orochimaru, Naruto let a shadow clone do it for him. When Naruto and the others returned to Konoha, the subsequent impact of Konoha's collapse plan has also begun to ferment in the ninja world. Cloud Shinobi and Rock Shinobi sent ninja spies to spy on Konoha and Sand Shinobi. Mist Shinobi, still licking the wound left by Obito, did not move. Sanagakure, it has now been confirmed that Orochimaru killed the 4th generation and pretended to be Kazekage to launch the plan to invade Konoha. We have only 2 ways now, either to seek peace, or to continue the war, triggering the 4th Ninja World War. My opinion is to use Orochimaru as an excuse to propose a non-indemnity negotiation to Konoha. Presumably, Konoha, who is suffering now, will not disagree with this request. According to information from Baki and other Sand Shinobi, Konoha's Uchiha has reappeared. There are also 2 pairs of Mangekyo Sharingan in the Uchiha family. Jiraiya, Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, are not simple characters either. Continuing the war will do Sand Shinobi no good. At the same time, we must select 5th Kazekage as soon as possible to stabilize Sanagakure. After analyzing the pros and cons, Elder Chidai looked at a group of Sand Shinobi elders and said solemnly. I agree with Elder Chidai's proposal. Sand Shinobi's strength, fighting with Konoha has no benefit except to drag Sand Shinobi down. So, who will be chosen for 5th Kazekage? The strongest ninja of this generation is only Baki Jonin. But his strength has not reached the level of Ying. A Sand Shinobi elder agreed with Chio's proposal, and said embarrassingly with a bitter face. When everyone heard this, they all looked bitter plus speechless. Sand Shinobi seems to be the only ones who can do it now, Chio and Ebi. But these 2 are old and are no longer suitable to be Kazekage. This. Elder Chio also had a tangled expression, considering whether to make an exception and let Baki try. Since there is no one to choose, then let Temari do 5th Kazekage. Suddenly, a slightly immature voice sounded outside the door, and then the door was pushed open by the sand, and 3 figures walked in. Gaara, Temari, Konkuro? This is not a place for you to participate, get out. One of the elders, Sand Shinobi, looked at the 3 of them who were only Chunin, and scolded them. What's more, the leader is Sand Shinobi weapon, Calendar. After returning to Sand Shinobi, the Gaara siblings were all promoted to Sand Shinobi Chunin. Elder Chidai, I have been approved by Shuhei. Now I am confident to become the Wind Shadow Guard. Guardian 5th Kazekage grows up and protects the village. Gaara ignored the elder, looked at Chio with gentle eyes, and solemnly promised. While talking, Gaara's khaki chakra coat ignited, and the windy one-tail crane watching mode bloomed again. Under everyone's amazed eyes, the overwhelming aura and chakra's coercion moved towards everyone's oppression. In an instant, all the elders of Sand Shinobi were overwhelmed by this overwhelming pressure, and they were so shocked that they broke out in cold sweat. As for Temari and Konkuro, they are in a daze at this time. Especially Temari. Being pulled here by this little brother who has changed his temperament, he wanted her to become 5th Kazekage. This kind of thing, Temari can't even think about it. Gaara. What kind of power is this? Elder Chidai narrowed his eyes, staring at Gaara's state, and asked in surprise. This is the power of the perfect Jinchuriki, one-tail crane mode. This is the power beyond shadow. Elder Chio, I have the confidence to use this power to help my sister protect Sand Shinobi. Gaara looked at Chio sincerely, and said every word firmly. Because of Naruto, Gaara still recognizes Chio very much. This is giving up life and resurrecting his existence. Is that so? It seems that Baki is right, you have indeed changed a lot. Gaara, since you have the heart to protect Sand Shinobi, then why don't you do 5th generation, but make Temari become 5th Kazekage? If it were you, I would support you as 5th Kazekage. Elder Chiyo pondered for a moment, thinking of the current situation of Sand Shinobi, gritted his teeth and decided. Finally, a combat power surpassing Ying appeared. How could she give up? As for Gaara's identity, sorry, except for one-tailed Jinchuriki, who is also the son of 4th Kazekage. Now he is no longer a dangerous person who will go berserk. Elder Chidai. If it was before, I would probably be 5th Kazekage. But now, I have reasons not to become Kazekage. I will support my sister Temari and become Sand Shinobi's 5th Kazekage. Gaara thought of the future that Naruto showed him, and spoke firmly with eyes. He doesn't want to attract Akatsuki's covet for Sand Shinobi in the future. He went out to fight alone, more freely, since Naruto said, he is his brother-in-law. Then make Temari the 5th Kazekage and let Naruto help take care of Tsunade. Having seen Gaara in Kurama mode, I know Naruto's terrifying power. Poor Gaara doesn't know yet, the Akatsuki organization has been changed beyond recognition by Naruto. And that brother-in-law also fooled him, even so. But it's just Chunon's Temari, it may be difficult to convince the public to become Kazekage. Gaara, I give you 1 year. If Temari can defeat Baki within a year, then I will support her as 5th Kazekage. If not, you'll be 5th Kazekage in a year. This year, the group of elders is in charge of the affairs of the village. Elder Chindai thought for a moment, looked at the 3 of them and said seriously. With the superpower of Gaara, Tsunade is impenetrable. Don't worry for now, Sand Shinobi's unstable effects. Also, then let us and Baki-sensei discuss things about going to Konoha. Gaara wanted to refuse, but thought of Naruto and agreed. If it is Naruto, he should know the future development direction of Temari and can quickly enhance Temari's strength. Can you go back first, we will discuss some details of the village. Elder Chindai agreed directly, and nodded to the 3 of them. Gaara can go, just to show the power of Sand Shinobi, not to be underestimated by Konoha. Elder Chidai, isn't this too childish? Yeah. Even if you beat Baki, it's just Jonin. That Gaara, but our Sand Shinobi's weapon, how could it become Kazekage? After the 3 of Gaara left, Elder Sand Shinobi raised questions in a hurry. Just now, Gaara's aura was so strong that none of them had the courage to speak. Humph, you guys, haven't figured out the status quo yet? If you don't agree, do you think that with Gaara's temper, you will release one-tail Shuhei here? We, Sand Shinobi, don't have the strength to deal with Shukaku now. What's more, the state just now was very unusual. I proposed a year, not only to procrastinate, but also to observe Gaara secretly. It is simply impossible for Temari to defeat elite Jonin's Baki within a year. Gaara is the choice of 5th Kazekage. Looking at the crowd of bullying elders, Chiyo sighed speechlessly. At the same time, I am even more disgusted with this boring power struggle. Fortunately, it was only a year, and Ren passed away. This is the candidate for Kazekage. After leaving the conference room, Temari looked at Gaara and Konkuro blankly, and murmured in disbelief. Of course, that guy will let you beat Baki as soon as possible. Maybe, in less than a year, you will be the first female Kazekage of Sand Shinobi. Gaara watched Temari's sluggish expression, and gave a rare encouragement. The first female Kazekage. Hearing this identity, Temari repeated unconsciously, with infinite longing flashing in his eyes. Konoha, with the coordinated help of many ninjas, the damaged places were quickly cleaned up. In many places, construction shelves have been set up. The whole village is in full swing, exuding a thriving atmosphere. Mission completed. Disbanded now, I'm going home. Naruto stepped over the Konoha gate with his front foot, leaving a word on his back foot and left here in an instant. Indeed, Sako's eyes made the atmosphere a bit awkward. I'm going home too. After Naruto left, Seiko finally found a chance and left quickly without saying a word. It's just that the direction seems to be the direction of Naruto's house. When little Sakura saw Sako's movements, a sense of crisis flashed in her eyes, and she moved her feet, and she was about to follow. But she only took 1 step, and was pulled back by Tsunade. Little Sakura, take me to find a place to take a bath. I haven't been back for a long time, and now a lot of places have been destroyed. I don't know the way. Tsunade tugged at the back of little Sakura's clothes, and said lazily. Okay, Mr. Tsunade. The little Sakura was like a frost-beaten eggplant, with her head down, weak. I can only pray in my heart, that guy Seiko will not make anything happen. Naruto home, now, it's time to go find them at 1st generation. Hashirama wood style, sage mode, complete Taisha, flying thunder god technique. The Battle of the Valley of the End, but it's a good time for the cost performance. After Naruto got home, he asked Doraemon to take out the time machine, sat on it to adjust the time, and muttered. Gone. The moment Naruto adjusted the time and pressed the button, a figure appeared beside him. The time machine also started in the next second, but the time adjusted by Naruto was disrupted before it started. Seiko, why are you here? No hands here. If you fall into the turbulent flow of time and space and lose the time machine, you will not be able to go back. Naruto looked at the pretty face beside him, his face was embarrassed, he touched his head and warned in embarrassment. Without noticing it at all, time travel was disrupted by Seiko. HMPH, then wait until I get out and settle accounts with you. Where are you going now? When Zuozi heard the consequences of his actions, the movements in his hands froze, he raised his head and looked around, pretending to be flat and arrogant. This. Just as Naruto opened his mouth to answer, a hole appeared in front of the time machine, and the time machine was pulled out. Konoha 48, October 10th. Konoha village, which was originally peaceful and prosperous, is now full of chaos, panic, screams, angry wailing and other negative emotions erupting. Those buildings and people are now in ruins, dead and wounded. Roar. A tall nine-tails demon fox is squandering its anger and youth on the mountain behind Konoha. The super terrifying sense of oppression in the huge evil chakra unscrupulously exploded in all directions. In front of the powerful nine tails, many Konoha shinobi players are like puppets, being manipulated at will. The Konoha people headed by Sarutobi Hiruzen tried their best to drive nine tails out of sleepiness. Just when many ninjas could not hold on, Namikaze Minato descended from the sky with Toad Bunta and suppressed Nine Tails, who was about to explode the tailed beast bomb. In the next instant, Nine Tails was teleported to Konoha village more than 10 miles away. Nine Tails has been transferred by the 4th generation, let's go help. Seeing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately shouted loudly, and took the lead in chasing in the direction of Nine Tails. At this time, at the center of Konoha, a black hole suddenly appeared. Naruto and Seiko appear here in a time machine. Here is Konoha. Seiko saw the devastation around him, and the Scarlet Eternal Mangekyo opened, and he was stunned and shocked. F*K. How did you come to this time period? When Naruto saw this scene for the first time, he instantly activated the perception ability from Nagato, cursing secretly in his heart. But this time is not the time to think about it. Now that he is here, he will fulfill his promise to the 4th generation couple. Naruto didn't have time to explain anything. He exploded with full speed in an instant, turned into a golden light, and rushed towards the sensed position. Naruto. Seeing Naruto run away, Seiko didn't have time to think about anything, so he followed the doctor quickly. Running all the way, just for a moment, Zuozi understood what time it was. At the same time, her heart trembled. The destructive power of Nine Tails has such a degree. Kushina, I'm going to use the 8-sign seal to seal the Nine Tails into Naruto. I think he will open up the future as Jinchuriki, as Mr. Jiraiya said. Somehow, I am convinced of this. 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato slowly put the baby Naruto beside Kushina, looked at the baby Naruto expectantly, and said seriously. As soon as the voice fell, the hands began to form seals. That is. Seeing Namikaze Minato's handprint, Kushina clearly recognized that it was the ghoul-sealed, heart-piercing block. In this, there is not only reluctance to her husband, but also resistance to the unfair fate of her son. The result? They're going to take care of Nine Tails themselves. Sarutobi Hiruzen said angrily when he attacked several times but failed outside the barrier. Just at this critical moment, a strange voice sounded behind Sarutobi Hiruzen. Immediately afterwards, the barrier in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen was torn open by the distorted space. Before Sarutobi Hiruzen could react, a golden light flashed in front of his eyes instantly. When Sarutobi Hiruzen was about to follow in, the result came back again. Ninja Law. Ghoul Seal. In the next second, when Namikaze Minato was forming the last mudra, he was firmly bound by a hand, interrupting his technique. Finally, it's over. Otherwise, it will be a little troublesome. At the same time, a panting voice rang in the ears of Namikaze Minato and Kushina. That person is. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the boy in the golden chakra coat, and said in amazement. An enemy? Namikaze Minato also reacted quickly, and greeted him with a backhand Rasengan. Well, it's a bit unfriendly to meet you for the first time. Naruto scratched his head helplessly and said. A chakra hand emerged from his body, and the same ordinary Rasengan hit it. Under Naruto's strong control, The two Rasengan perfectly cancelled each other out, without hurting Namikaze Minado's branch. Dad? Dad? The moment the two Rasengans disappeared, Namikaze Minato and Kushina looked at Naruto at the same time and exclaimed in disbelief. For convenience, Naruto also turned off the Nine Tails chakra mode, so that the two of them could see his appearance clearly. And Nine Tails, who was bound by Kushina with chakra chains, saw Naruto's Kurama mode, his huge pupils shrank, and the fox's face showed horror. That kind of power is actually in the same line as its power. Namikaze Minato. This is how the same thing. You actually have such a big son. How many things are you hiding from me? Kushina rubbed her eyes subconsciously, and after carefully looking at the faces of Naruto and Namikaze Minato, she couldn't help roaring angrily. The windless and automatic bright red hair and the roar of the devil made Naruto's scalp tingle and his ears almost rang. Really, Naruto without beard, and Namikaze Minato are like carved out of the same mold. No. Kushina, how could I have such a big child? I'm only 24 years old. Namikaze Minato waved his hands like a rattle and hurriedly explained. When Kushina heard Namikaze Minato's explanation, his eyes froze, and he seemed to realize something. Could it be that you had a child with someone else when you were 10 years old? Damn, you lied to me for so long. Under the surprised eyes of Naruto, Namikaze Minato, and Sarutobi Hiruzen, Kushina roared angrily again. Don't be so excited, mother. I am your son. Naruto saw that Kushina was so open-minded, so he stopped being a joke and admitted it voluntarily. After the touch of Minato and his wife last time, Naruto can still do it by calling parents in front of them. You are me and Minato's child. When Kushina heard this, he looked at Naruto and Namikaze Minato with a dumbfounded expression.